We've got Nate the lawyer with us, and we're going to talk about everything that's been going on lately around this different SUEnami, lawsuits, all this crazy stuff. I was trying to get my chat box to come up, but yeah, it doesn't look like it wants to right now. We'll see. Anyway, let's bring in, hey, Purple Giraffe. Hey, Dagfin. Hello. Chimera. Tom's Toys. All right, let's get Nate in here and get this started. Nate, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Hey, no, thanks for having me, man. How have you been? What's been going on, bro?
Oh, man, I took a break from live streaming over here to get my edited videos back pumping out. Okay, we got the live chat, too. And it's good to be back over here at UNIRock, too, man. It's been a while. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I saw the video you put out earlier today. I was talking about it today on the live stream, man. It was good stuff. It's just, you know, the craziness of this crazy case, but we'll get into it. I'm sure.
Yeah, we need to talk about that a little bit because a lot of people have questions about it, and I looked at it as if it was kind of a rare thing. You know, you don't typically see those kind of, you don't hear about death threats and crazy stuff like that over, you know, court cases. So you're a lawyer. How many of you, I mean, is it common or is it uncommon like people think?
You know, litigation, it's interesting part is litigation is our answer to the disputes. Before it was, you know, 6 paces and we pointing guns at each other, you know, we're dueling for our lives. Yep. Even before that, you know, it was kind of might makes right. You know, if I can beat your ass, then I got the treasure.
Yeah.
Now, but now, you know, it's so there's a lot of emotions tied up in litigation, right? But this case, you know, usually you get the fight when you get the trial, not at the motion to dismiss. We're so early. They just filed the first paperwork. And now we're talking about death threats, snitches, and you know, and protection. What the hell? You know, this is a defamation case. When the hell did the mafia get involved? So I don't know. I know we got a lot to talk about, but this is insanity.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You've been hanging out with, did you go with on Rakita Law? You did, right? Nick Rakita?
Yeah, I went on Rakita. Yeah, Rakita, yeah.
Rakita. I always say, I pronounce everything wrong. Everybody gives me shit for it. Uncivil Law, Viva, right? Viva La Fre.
Yeah. Viva, Nick. So yeah, so but that's,
Emily?
That's YouTube Law. Emily Baker, yeah. She came on my channel too. Well,
oh,
you know,
she did?
Obviously,
okay.
Because we have like a little community. It's a little legal community here. Because that's our goal is to try to educate the public on legal matters and stuff like that. And that's what we want to get. You know what I mean?
Well, that's good because we should be more educated on that kind of thing. And I don't feel like people are. I know I'm not. I'm a doofus when it comes to all that stuff. So, well, anyway, I've got some theories. See, I've been uploading videos where I give my little theory here or what I think about this there when it comes to this lawsuit with Tati Westbrook. So maybe we could talk about that for a second because I thought, you know, with these the threats and stuff that came in, I asked you how common that is, and of course it's not common. It's really not.
Oh, no, of course not.
Yeah. What do you think there's a chance that the people who did this will be charged, or are you in the group of people who think they'll evade through the internet? They'll evade any repercussions. What do you think?
It all depends. It all depends on how good they are. So it all depends on how good the people are who are looking for them are. Generally, I always find that it's easier to find people than people think. No matter how many precautions you take, as soon as you're making contact with the server, with the web page, with something, and you leave trails, and those trails can be found out back to you. Now, some people are more careful than others, but you know, it's just really you have to make one mistake for them to catch you, right? You have to be perfect all the time. They just have to catch you once. So right now, if you're talking about, you know, having all these professionals who've been doing this for a while, law enforcement's involved, it's possible we can see somebody caught, but it's the more interesting part about it is that who's doing it for what purpose? Because just it doesn't make sense for someone to be doing this for KJP, nor does it make sense for somebody to be doing this to hurt KJP. It's a real weird situation that's going on here, you know?
It really is. And there are people with their theories. There are people that do think it's KJP, and then you've got the camp that thinks it's a hater that wants to frame her up. But there's even more people that I think, due to how extreme these messages were, that they think it's a KJP supporter that wants people to think that it's a KJP hater for some kind of like reverse psychology kind of reason. So you go out in the comments section, everybody's got a different opinion, and they're convinced. There's a lot of people that are convinced.
Yeah, let me do this. Let me roll everything back to where we were at before, to how we got here.
Okay.
Right, so everybody understands. I'm assuming everybody knows Tati Westbrook. She's suing KJP. She's got 9 million subs. KJP's got 130,000 subs for defamation, right? So everyone understands the way it usually works. What we usually do, the plaintiff, the person who's been harmed, they'll go to the court and fill out documents. The summons and the complaint, right? This is how I was wronged. They'll then take those documents, get them stamped by the court, and then send them to the defendant, right? That's called serving the defendant. The defendant then gets the papers. Then the defendant can do one or two things. They can answer that complaint, right? They can deny all the allegations. I deny all the allegations. Or they can say, I don't deny the allegations, but if everything you're saying in your complaint is true, you can't win as a matter of law. It's like saying someone stole something from you and not telling the court what they stole, right? You're saying, well, everything you're saying is true, but since you didn't tell the court what I stole, or the value of the stuff that I stole, then you don't have a case. So that's where we're at here. At this particular point in the case, Tati has made her allegations. Now, technically, as a matter of law, Katie has not denied those allegations yet. She has not denied them. What she has done is put in a motion to dismiss to say, okay, if all those allegations are true, what Katie will say is, if all those allegations are true, Tati's lawsuit should fail as a matter of law. So that's where we're at. I don't know how that turns into death threats and hacking and all that. It's very simple where we're at. We're not even really deeply into the lawsuit. We're literally this is the second or third document that needs to be filed to move this thing along. We haven't gone to a trial. This is when we're close to trial. We haven't gone through discovery. This is so early in the case. This is like I know my friend calls it 1 and 1A. Like we're Katie hasn't even answered the complaint yet. So it doesn't make any sense how you have 46 pages or 46 entries at the court record. For context, Tucker Carlson's full defamation lawsuit had 40 entries. Wow. This case, defamation, and we haven't even gotten the judge haven't seen one hearing date. Already at 47. So it's off the rails.
Yeah, a lot of people were telling me they liked my theory, where I said, when I looked at it, I said, they haven't got past jurisdiction yet. They haven't decided jurisdiction, but we've got KJP's lawyer and KJP both kind of arguing things that seem like they're past the jurisdiction argument. Does that matter in a lawsuit? Like, if I go in and say, Judge, I want you to throw my case out because of jurisdiction, and then file like half my case after I do it, aren't you kind of telling the judge, I want you to look at all this, I want you to have jurisdiction? Or am I wrong? Is that not is that dumb?
Well, yeah, because it's not, because it's like, at the point, you're arguing that her argument is this court doesn't have any authority to tell her to do anything. That's what the jurisdictional argument is. Jurisdiction is authority. Think about it like this, like a cop. Think about like a cop arresting you. If you were in Tennessee or if you were in Texas, a cop with a New York City badge comes and arrests you. I'm arresting you. Be like, hey, you got no authority here. We're in Texas, my man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you're if the FBI or tries to arrest you while you're in Mexico, you're like, we're in Mexico, dude. This is not the United States. You don't have no authority here. That's what the jurisdictional argument is. So it seems like it just perplexes me. You're saying the court doesn't have authority to hear your case, then go into the details of your case. So you are technically right. The court doesn't. It shouldn't matter what's happening with the case at this particular point. Only thing you're saying is the court doesn't have the authority to tell me to do anything. That's all. Yeah. That's what Katie's asking to do. That's all she's asking to do.
Yeah, so because I read everything else and I said I understand the whole thing about the threats being filed, but the other stuff, maybe some of the other stuff that's out there, I'm like, you know, they're going a little past, you know, the excuses for how Mr. Brown didn't accuse Mr. Saltsy of this and that, and I'm thinking like, man, it's like it looks like they've skipped over jurisdiction and completely forgot about it, but. Yeah, you'd think the judge might be a little bit annoyed, or he might get a little bit like, maybe look at this case a little sideways. Okay, so here,
he's gonna be like, what the hell?
Yeah, so tell me this: are you thinking, from everything you've seen? I'm gonna hit you with some hard questions. I prepared some questions for you. Do you think that Mr. Brown is far ahead of the game, or do you think that Saltsy is ahead of the game, just from what you've seen up to now?
Ooh, that's a good question. All right.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I'll just say Saltsy was winning like the mother, right? Saltsy's complaint was really good. You know, it had us all talking. It's fire. He laid out the fire for us, which was nice. So Saltsy put together in his legal document more talking to us than it was talking to the court. So I got to give it to my man Saltsy. Laid down some nice work. Motion to dismiss sucked. It wasn't good at all. It wasn't good at all. And because it wasn't good at all, I think it lost drama points on the internet. But, you know, it is what it is. So if we're just talking about on the legal filings and the legal arguments, I got to give it to Salts. Even though I still think Katie's arguments are legally sufficient where I think she can win. I think it's just been argued better by Salts. But I'm not saying Katie's can't win. I actually think she can win on the law. I think the better arguments are with Saltsy. I think Saltsy makes the better arguments. So if you're talking about just on the legal, on whether we're going to have the motion to dismiss, I think the motion to dismiss is going to be granted for lack of personal jurisdiction. But I also think Saltsy did a better job in laying out his argument. But
yeah, I agree.
For everything else, all this sideshow shit, I honestly think I'm on one hand, I'm kind of like, all right, Salts kind of started all this with the whole Lorianne thing, and that now, you know, she's in other words saying stuff that's seen to be true. You know, Lori Land, yeah, I was friends with her. Well, we assume that to be true because, you know, that's the standard we're at, so we didn't really need that. Then you got Katie arguing that some of the facts aren't true, but not understanding that at this stage of the game it doesn't matter because you assume the facts are true. Like, you know, so Katie's declarations that, hey, these facts aren't true, that's irrelevant because at this stage, by law, we have to assume the facts are true. So in that instance, I think it seems that Saltsy still has the advantage in terms of I think just the tactics. But now I think it's just so muddy. If I was the judge, I'd tell them both that, you know, just to shut up and just, you know, we got to move forward because this is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, because this whole thing from like a YouTube or a social media perspective is better than TV at this point. It's got so many twists and turns at such a, you know, constant rate that it's keeping everybody's attention, and it YouTube channels are being built on this whole mess now. But from, just like you said, I agree Saltsy has put forward some good arguments and changed people's minds. Does it really matter in the end? Because as you told me long ago, this is about defamation, and defamation is one of the hardest things to try to win just because of, you know, First Amendment free speech and all that. So I completely get it.
Yeah, let's keep it 100. I don't know what's going on. I don't understand how a defamation case is getting, you know, think about this. We got snitches in the defamation case. I've seen more snitches in this case than I have for mob cases. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is crazy. This is insanity on YouTube. And now we got death threats. Think about how bad it is. Saltsy's getting threatened. You got 24 hours to drop the case. What are they fighting over? The nuclear codes? Like, you know what I mean? Like yeah. This is crazy. This is crazy. Oh, but you know Katie as long as I've known Katie. What do you think about the sideshow? Do you think there's something to it? Because don't forget, you got Creep Show, you got a whole bunch of other stuff going on.
Yeah, I've told Katie, and everybody in the chat, let me know if you can hear us okay, if the volume's good and all that. I've told her since the very beginning. Of course, I don't talk to her anymore ever since that all happened a few months ago, but I told her in the beginning to just not say anything no matter what. And that was my advice. Like when she would pop into Discord, very rarely, but until the end part there where I told everybody. And thank you for joining, sis. And Leroy, thank you. Appreciate you for the support. It means a lot. I just told her to keep quiet, and it really gets me when we see these things happen on YouTube. The two people who I expect not to hear a word from would be Katie and Tati. And then, yeah, lawyers or people involved or people that are like in witnesses maybe go out to social media, do an interview. I don't even think witnesses can do an interview, but I thought that was weird. But it is strange. You think that she seems to be taking things more seriously now. She announced that she's not going to post on Twitter anymore, and then she stopped, other than I think her response. I didn't look today, though. You know, I just kind of wish she would have listened to all of us, but then again, we all know that based on all the crap that happened, she wasn't listening to a lot of us for a lot of advice that she was getting from us. So I don't know, man. I think Salty, I feel bad for Salty and Emily and the other people that were threatened. I know everybody in the community does. Yeah. So I think that's the main thing. Now, you notice a lot of people kind of took a halt and were just like, this has gone to crazy town. And if you remember, because you've been following this a long time, this all happened back in December of last year. There were a lot of threats and a lot of people trying to hack people's accounts. And this, we all had a lot less subs then. Katie only had like 40,000. So it was not a lot of chatter about it. But now, hopefully, there can be someone to be put behind bars for doing this, because it's very serious, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. No, your opinion. It's serious. This is serious. Threatening people's children is serious. People go to jail for that. I don't know why. And again, you know, it's at a point where it's so crazy that you don't know who would benefit from something like this. Because if you get caught, you know, let's say hypothetically it's somebody for Tati's side and they get caught, it destroys Tati's whole case. They've done the exact opposite of what they wanted to do. Or if it's, you know, the other side for KJ. And they get caught, then it proves the whole case.
Yeah.
So it's so much risk and so little reward. Or it could just be internet trolls that just want to see everything burn. But you know, it's just, you know, we've been around this community for a while. Have we ever seen anything like this? Like even the other case, the other case that will not be named. Yeah, that one wasn't this bad, and that was a dumpster fire too.
Yeah, no, this one's gone. It's like the further things gone. I know we're going to talk about that, Bunny. The Sherelle's World stream. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, definitely, because it was a little strange, wasn't it? But the last case and these other, like, we could even go back further to Ethan Klein's H3H3 case. It's like the further this all goes on, the worse it gets. And yeah, if it was Toddy's side or KJ's side, they're completely done. If it's someone close to them, they're done. But if it's a viewer on one side or a viewer on the other, they're just going to go to jail and people are going to shake their head at them. I just think that where do you got to be at in your mind to you know, these trolls get used to acting this way on irrelevant matters. Maybe they just got messed up and it just slipped, but man, they've even been threatened up until recently. Like, we're talking the last few days, so it's still going on. So I think that's like guaranteeing that they're gonna. Some people said that if it's somebody in another country, they may not be caught. And while I do agree, possibly some countries won't. That it actually is the opposite for many of the, you know, like, there are a lot of countries that have really strict defamation law that's way worse than the United States. If they're in any of those countries, they're gonna be caught. Guaranteed.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. But I think at the end of the day, though, you know, well, we'll see because you know, obviously, even looking at some of the posts, you can tell that you know, some of the writing styles weren't American. You know, it was somebody from overseas. Some of the ways some of the words were spelled, some of the time zone stuff. But I think one thing a lot of people don't understand is, you know, there are contingencies for that. People, you know, the reason why they find people who make threats online is because they have contingencies. They know how to find people who do these type of things, you know. So I think sometimes people, the reason why Twitter now forces you to give a phone number to sign in and to send stuff, that's the reason why, because they want to make sure they'll be able to find you in some way, you know. And that's so that's where we're at now. We'll see what happens.
Bunny says, if they can't be caught, can't they at least be identified? I think they're going to catch them. I don't think it really matters unless they're in Switzerland or something like that, you know, some place with no extradition or no defamation law. I don't even know Switzerland's defamation laws. Has Nate seen anything this crazy played out in real time in public or in another case? Have you ever seen, is this one of the craziest cases you've ever looked at, Nate, after the last couple weeks, or is it just
yeah, no, this is insane. I've seen some crazy stuff in criminal cases though, but like with the DA was threatened, so I've seen some crazy stuff, but I've never seen anything like this in a civil case, you know, other than people just going up straight up fight. This in a civil case is unheard of. This is unheard of. I don't understand. Listen, people don't understand how crazy this was. We just had 137 pages drop yesterday. The word jurisdiction was mentioned once in a footnote.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's insane. Yesterday, 137 pages. The word the whole argument is about jurisdiction. Word jurisdiction is in a footnote. It wasn't even in the document. It was in a footnote in the document. That's how off the rails you are when you're turning 100, because somebody's got to read that. Somebody at the court is going to have to read it. The judge is going to have to read that and say, what the hell am I reading this for?
Why are you wasting my time? Yeah.
All right, like think about this. Lori Ann. Do you think Lori Ann's declaration was important to the case? Just asking you, UNIRock.
See, I'm torn multiple ways, because when for KJP's side, no, not at all. But for Mr. Brown's side, Tati's side, yeah, for Salty's side, there's a part of me that says, who cares? But then I remember that one of the main charges against KJP from Salty is that she is an, like, literal, I just read this again a few days ago, an internet troll who makes money by using defamation and buffing things up. That, you know, he said it a little different in the lawsuit. I can see how Lori being from Washington and doing things for KJP would help him, but I would expect it to be more. You know, she only had a couple little orders that were given, and I could think to myself, nah, but what do you think, though?
Oh, but now, think about this. Now think about whether Lori Ann's allegations are relevant, or even do you need it? If I said everything in her complaint is true, I'm saying everything Tati's saying is true. The fact that KJ had contacts in this and the way she had contacts, I'm saying all that is true. And if that's the case, you don't need Lori Ann, right? You don't need Lori Ann, because I'm already assuming what you're saying is true. For Lori Ann to come in to say, see, somebody else says it's true, that's good after you have the answer, after we're looking for evidence. But at this point, it doesn't matter, because everything that Tati is saying, I'm assuming to be true. And you can tell you're assuming it to be true. It's because that KJP didn't answer the lawsuit. She didn't come out. She hasn't yet said officially that all the allegations in the lawsuit are false. She hasn't officially said that. She said is, assume they're true. So the Lori Ann stuff and all this stuff now that's coming after it is technically irrelevant. It's irrelevant to the case at hand. Now, what it is relevant to, though, is, you know, obviously letting the judges that know that potential witnesses are going to be harmed, or this, and these threats are happening. That I can see having some effect, but not when it comes to the motion to dismiss, because what happens if the judge dismisses this case for lack of jurisdiction? What happens to all that evidence, right? What happens to all those threats and everything? Does that even matter? You know, he's going to dismiss the case, but say, yeah, but you know, all these witnesses have been threatened. So now it's a law enforcement matter, but to the case, it's meaningless to the case.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up really quick. The FBI has been involved in this, and, you know, that's kind of scary when you think about it. Like, the FBI is going to be looking at everything. That just freaks me out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well.
It makes it seem like they're gonna come busting in and just hauling people out. It's gonna be big news when it happens. Whenever they catch whoever's doing this craziness, it's gonna be big news. So, okay, while we're still on the topic of the threats and the craziness, because they all just happened, it's all in everybody's mind. The actual DMs, the messages, they tried to make it look like that it was from a like 13 or 14-year-old. Remember, I don't know. Like, if I had to ask you, do you have any like gut feeling about like who it could be, or do you have any inkling, the complete fucking opinion, just complete, like, you know what I'm saying? But do you think it is a kid? Do you think it could be just an internet troll, or do you have any idea in your mind?
Be honest with you, I don't know. And it's hard for me to say yes, it's hard for me to say what I really feel, because I don't want to falsely accuse anybody, you know what I'm saying? And without any hard proof, I just don't want, I just wouldn't do that to anybody. But I'll say this, it's tough because real people are being affected by this, you know what I'm saying? And Emily have nothing to do with this. And for whoever who is doing this stuff and who's making these particular threats, that's disgusting. You should go to jail. Unfortunately, you should go to jail. And it's almost like being a coward behind it's being a coward behind the machine. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can find you, so I can say whatever I want to especially like Solcy's daughter. You saw the account where they had his profile picture with his daughter. Like that's real scumbag stuff. But I don't think any rational person would have thought those emails or those DMs sent to him threatening to him to get off the case in 24 hours have been successful, right? So it's just so hard, because I can see a world where people would be crazy enough to do this, but then I can also see a world where this was planned, but against two, and both these sides are not, we're not talking about two angels on both sides. Tati has her crazy stuff that's going on, and KJ has her crazy stuff that's going on. So
yeah,
who will ever know? That's why we have professional investigators. Hopefully they'll find out.
I agree. In my mind, I could think that maybe one side or the other might be a little stressed out and get a little crazy, but then not even you don't go this far. Whoever did this is, I think, very unhinged. And I hate that I'm biased, but I am really biased here because back in December, like I said, of 19, we had these issues. So I really do think it's the same either person or group of people. And I'm hoping that, if that's true, that they've, they might sell out the whole, the whole shebang. They might just drop all the information if they get picked up, but we'll have to see. Somebody just asked us in the chat, does all this craziness hurt our freedoms going forward on YouTube? I have a very strong opinion there, but if you want to say anything on that, Nate, before I say something.
I'm not understanding the question. What
do you think?
The KJ case going to hurt? Go ahead.
Yeah. No, just all the lawsuits in general. These lawsuits coming forward, the defamation case, maybe if Tati wins, maybe if KJ wins, is there a chance it could hurt us on YouTube with stricter rules or stricter regulations? What do you think?
Well, I think Tati's case does have a double-edged sword. And I'll tell you why. I hate to call it free speech, because that's such a deceptive way of speaking about the freedom of speech. It's really all speech is free. It's just which speech is protected versus which speech is not protected. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the First Amendment's freedom of speech. So protected speech is speech, like political speech, and what we're doing, commentary, opinion. Those are highly protected speech. Versus threats of violence. Threats of violence aren't protected speech. They're speech that government you're not. I want to say you're not allowed to say, but you can be punished for saying. Defamation, for instance, is another form of unprotected speech. It's speech, free to say it, but it's unprotected. You can be held liable for it. So, with Tati's case, I think there are a couple of dangers here. Number one, Tati is a public figure, and this case is about whether someone from a commentary channel give opinions on the case, right? So it's. I think if you're talking in that vein, I think it's dangerous, because I think it restricts free speech to even these commentary channels really, really big. And I think it's going to be tough for Tati to win, because look at the National Enquirer, for instance. But then on the second piece, I think another dangerous piece of this Tati Westbrook lawsuit is the jurisdictional piece. Think about this. Tati's argument for jurisdiction is that Katie had a fan in Washington that once super chatted her. And that's how that and that's enough to take her from Minnesota, haul her into a court in Washington State, and have her fight a trial in Washington State. Now, let's say for somebody like me, who has 50,000 subs, and I have a sub in Alaska, super chatted me once. Does that now make me liable? Be hauled into an Alaskan court and have to fight a case in Alaska, New York? Those are the dangers. So that's why I think Tati winning opens up a lot more risk for us as YouTubers, and I think that risk is mitigated by the fact that I think the law for defamation is more on KJ's side than it is on Tati's side. But again, it all depends on now the lawyers and the arguments that are going to be made.
Yeah. I think you made a great point. The same point I would have made. I'm going to play devil's advocate the littlest bit, though, because you know as well as I do, we've seen so many people, and look, I don't feel this way. This isn't my opinion, but we've seen so many people make channels that try to go after others, not to criticize, not to give an opinion, but they do extreme things, and they do their best to, we've seen some that like to restream other people outside of fair use, and then they go and admit on another live stream, yeah, go watch this person here on this person's channel because we don't like the person they're restreaming. That way they won't get views, and then they dox and they attack. I think we've seen so much craziness in the last year or so that people feel on both sides that there needs to be something done. Even Tati having KJ, if KJ did defame her, and look, if KJ wouldn't have deleted or privated anything, not when James Charles messaged her, but in the beginning, I'm talking once the eyes were looking at her when she deleted stuff, I might feel a little more to not criticize her as much. But knowing that she tried to hide things combined with being accused of defamation, that just says maybe she does have some really extreme things that she said about Tati that she doesn't want people to hear. And I do think there needs to be a protection for people, but it sucks. You're right. Because now, when this all started, I didn't like the fact that viewers and live chats and comments were being dissected by a legal team, because I want those people to be protected. I want the viewership to feel like they can say what they want, give an opinion down there, and not have to fear that any overlord, figure is looking at what they say and, oh, did I word something the wrong way? I want people to be able to express themselves and respond to what we do. Though, a lot of people will say, look at all that other garbage that happens. Don't people need a protection? So it sucks, but now we are at a place where the public believes that both sides are valid. They think that, yeah, we got to protect YouTube and free speech, but we also have to make sure people can have some kind of, defense themselves. So it sucks. It's one of those middle line issues, It's like you look at it and then both sides are pushing on you a little bit, and it's hard to make up your mind,
I think one thing with these, especially with Tati's side, is that a couple of I think everybody's been so focused in on the sideshow. Nobody's been looking at the legal arguments. I think Tati's legal arguments are better than KJ's. I will freely admit that. But I don't think they walk on water as some of my other brethren. And the reason why is, number one of the big issues is that they say that KJ did all this research, right? The research that she did. She not only researched it, but she did so much research. She's getting birth certificates. She's going that, right? She's doing, one of the issues KJ was doing stalker type research. Am I wrong with that? Right? She was like a stalker with the research, right? Oh, yeah. So much research, it's insanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on the back end, and now you can't say that she was negligent, right? Because you would say a person who didn't do their research was negligent. But you can't say she's negligent, right? Because by saying she's negligent, saying she didn't do any research. But then on one end say, yeah, she did. Look at all this research she did. So those type of things I would have pointed out if I was KJ's attorney. I'd have been pointing out, well, here on one end, you can't complain about all the research I'm doing, and then on the other side, charge me for not doing enough research. You know what I'm saying? Which is it? Then number two, I think that I think just the sheer fact that Tati is a public figure. Tati is a public figure, and being a public figure, it's just a lot harder to win a defamation case. You know, look again, and I tell people, look at the National Enquirer. Look at it. Look at the National Enquirer. Look at the crazy stories they come out with against politicians. Hillary Clinton only had 6 months to live 2 years ago, right? These are the stories, and because the actual malice standard is so high, that speech is protected, and that's what I keep telling people. You know, it's Tati's lawsuit looks better, but I think it's just like every other defamation lawsuit. It's doomed for failure because, you know, it's just so hard to win a defamation claim. It just is.
Ooh, I'm glad you went there because I'm prepared for this. So, is knowing that Saltsy is really a good, and he's a good lawyer. He's an intelligent lawyer. He has a great reputation. He's worked with YouTube before. He's worked with the biggest channels on YouTube before, and he's just, you know, everybody thinks that he's good at his job. Why would somebody good at their job even allow themselves to fight a losing case like defamation case like this, unless there could be an ulterior motive in filing the suit? Do you think that there could be another reason that Saltsy and Tati filed this lawsuit, knowing that it could be thrown out? Is there anything you can think of?
Well, just to be fair, any lawsuit could be thrown out, right? Just because I think it's a loser doesn't mean it is a loser, right? So I want to make it very clear. Tati can totally win this lawsuit, right? I believe it's a loser based on my experience and what I know about the law. I just don't think it's going to be successful, but I could totally be wrong, right? I am no savant in terms of this. I cannot give you a 100% sure bet. The best I can do with this case, and the reason why I think Tati's going to win, KJ's going to win, is maybe about 60-40, right? 60-40 is probably the best I can do.
Okay.
Might go 70. I might go 70-30, but that's very, very, very tough. So I just want to make it very clear. You know, Tati can win this lawsuit. I just think all the indicators, me, point to Katie actually winning the lawsuit. The second, you asked about Saltsy. Would you ask about Saltsy particularly?
What could another motivation be? Like, okay, let me just come out and say it. A lot of people think that because of the other lawsuit happening with the business lawsuit, that this lawsuit could be to take a little bit of the eyes off of it. But I don't think that myself. I didn't know what you thought, or if there's another reason you think that they could sue. So,
I don't know, because usually with a lawsuit like this, you try to scare the other person. See when you file, right? Filing a lawsuit like this, let's look at it from Tati's side. File a lawsuit like this. How much money do you think you get from KJ? Yeah.
Oh, realistically,
yeah. Like, you know, do you think she can get enough money from KJ to cover her legal costs with Saltsy? Saltsy's legal costs got to be like $100,000 now.
Over 100,000 is what Saltsy would cost. Oh man, like, I don't know. I think she might be able to get 50 or 70 reasonably, but I mean, even that's a stretch, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm saying even that's a stretch, right? You got, you got a house, but the house also belongs to the husband. So this is not. So she's not making, or by suing Katie, this is not about the money, right? She's not getting the $5 million from Katie, right?
Yeah.
Even if she got Katie's channel, that's not $5 million.
No.
So that leads me to believe is that this person is paying to a whole. This person is paying for this lawsuit, knowing that this lawsuit is not going to get them any money. So when do people usually do that? Usually when they want something to stop or they're trying to send a message. I'm assuming that this is more than just trying to win a defamation suit. Right? It has to be more than winning a defamation suit, because you really can't win any money from this suit. It may be about punishment, it may be about pain, it may be about trying to deflect, but it seems to me that there's something more here in a defamation suit, because you sue to win money, right? You sue to win for a point. You don't just sue for fun. So and now we know for a fact they can't be suing to get money, because they're not going to cover their legal fees just based on what Katie has. So that's just the way I think about it.
But yeah, there's some people commenting in the chat. Maloney says, I don't think the Westbrooks would spend that kind of money just to create a diversion. I don't think she wants money. I think she wants KJ off of YouTube. I agree with you that they, I actually think I know why she got sued. I did a video on it. I'll bring it up in a minute. Also, Purple Giraffe, Tati could negotiate to pay KJ's legal in this to get the info for the partnership lawsuit.
Swanson.
Just my opinion. Oh, shit. You know what? That's weird. A lot of people show this evidence that Katie talked to Swanson, and maybe they want maybe they do want some information. Maybe they're convinced Katie did talk to, well, I think Katie talked to Swanson. I've seen some clips that really make me think that she talked to Swanson. So that's an interesting theory, honestly. That's a little bit strange. Huh.
Yeah, I think Emily Baker has a great video on it where she breaks it down, and it seems like Swanson is the source, but who knows? You know what I'm saying? Who would ever know? Unless Katie gives it up. But I think that's the one good thing about a journalist is that you don't give up your sources. So if this suit is to get the source, that's a dangerous game, because then you kind of kill your repeat business, because nobody wants to talk to a journalist who gives up their sources. You know what I'm saying?
Good point. Good point. Good point. We got some other questions. Let me get them out of the way. We've got Nate, could other charges be brought, for example, perjury or threats, if KJP isn't guilty of defamation? So if Katie wins, are there any other kind of penalties or issues she could face? What do you think?
Possibly, but right, it's just the reason why, and this is I hate saying this. All right, but I'm gonna say it. That's the reason why it's so stupid to put any type of declaration in from Katie. Reason why myself and Uncivil Law, we saw those declarations come in. KJP, right, the defendant, she turned in 3 declarations, more or less 3 affidavits for those of you don't know, declaring what she's saying. The only thing doing that can do is hurt her, because if you don't turn in those declarations, there's no way you can there's no way you can impeach yourself, or there's no way that you can perjure yourself, right? Because you haven't said anything. Only thing you're saying is whatever the plaintiff's saying is true, she's still going to lose. So by turning in those declarations, you've now exposed yourself to being caught out there in a lie, to being caught out there. So it seems like her attorney, which may be a fantastic attorney, I don't understand why her attorney would put her in a position like that. And now she's now going on the record, and now if there is perjury in there, she can be held liable for that, because that's what happens. Even if the court doesn't have jurisdiction, you still can't lie under oath. Now, I'm not saying by any means Katie's lied under oath. There's no evidence of that. I'm not saying she has. I'm just saying that there's a risk of that, especially at the stage where it was totally unnecessary for Katie to put in declaration saying what the plaintiff is saying is lying. The response should have just been, oh, that doesn't matter. You know why? Because we're accepting everything the plaintiff is saying is true. So that's what. So that's what I'm saying. It was irrelevant, unnecessary, and now that you have it there, and if you do get caught with something like perjury, and it's all your fault, because you didn't have to give them the ammunition to catch you in perjury. I mean, for perjury.
Man, that's good points, man. That's good points. We got this would be a good question to ask at the end, but let's go ahead and do it. And remember, y'all, if you want to ask any questions or bring up topics really for me and Nate to talk about while we're live, drop them in the live chat. The mods are looking too, and they're going to put them in my general room if they see anything good. But do we think that KJ will ever be able to come back? Do we think that KJ will ever be able to come back even if she wins? Or has she gone too far with all of this other stuff? Do you have an opinion there? I mean,
people have short memories. Right?
That's true.
Nobody's going to be thinking about this forever. You know, this is 6 months. Think about 6 months ago, even a year ago, what we were talking about. Remember, it was fake emails and this, and you know. So, Sherelle's world. Remember what happened to Sherelle's world. So you know, this too shall pass. I just think that I think at this point in time, I always tell this, especially to my clients when we have litigation. We want to win the war, right? I don't care about the battles, right? The real fight. You want to win both the public debate and the legal debate at the same time, right? That's the gold standard. We want to win both. I want to win your case, and I want to win hearts and minds of the people. But if I had to choose between the two, right? If it came to be a conflict between winning the case, winning hearts and minds of the people, which one would you rather win? And I'd rather win the case. You know, you pay me to win the case. You don't pay me to win the hearts and minds of the people. You pay me to win the case. Now, if I have to win the hearts and minds of the people and the case, then you got to pay me more money. My job is to win the case. I'm thinking in this instance, it's best to just win the case. Let's say on KJP side, it's best to just win the case, right? Shut up, win the case, and then when you win the case, now you can talk all the trash you want, right?
Yeah.
No, because you've won. You can talk all the trash you want. You know, look, they were liars. This, and you have all that behind you. But you got to win the case. And I think you're trying to win all these little battles, right? Every little battle doesn't have to be fought, because eventually you spread yourself too thin and you lose the war. Think about this, people. Vietnam. Did you know this? In Vietnam, the United States won every battle in Vietnam. Every time they put men on the field against the Viet Cong, they won that battle.
I'm pretty sure
they literally didn't lose any battle. Most scholars would say it was either the United States lost or either tied in Vietnam. You would say, well, that doesn't not make any sense, because Vietnam, the United States lost the political war. At home, people were against the war. They had to pull out. That's what people mean about you know. It's not about those individual battles, but the whole war. You're trying to win a war, and that's what the case is. The case is a war. So this whole Lorianne's a liar, this person's a liar. Those are all irrelevant to winning the war. Win the war, and then we can talk as much as we want, because history only tells the story of the victors. Losers are losers.
Good point. Hey, BGF, he's doing good. Okay, listen to this one. Oh, let's just get this out of the way. Nate, I saw a stream with you, Emily, and Uncivil Law. It sounded like you know KJP. Have you spoken to her recently? A viewer wants to know.
Yes. I remember we had at one point, I think she told me no. So not no, she told me goodbye. But yeah, well, I've spoken to her recently. But I'm being honest. I'm not happy with this whole Emily thing. I'm definitely not happy with this, and it's really making me reevaluate, because you know. But the thing is that it's that weird space where I hate to accuse someone of something without any proof or evidence, just on a hunch. If someone says that I didn't do it, or someone says I don't know what they're talking about, then I try to tend to believe them until I have evidence to the contrary, especially someone who I haven't personally had issues with in the past. So, you know, until that, but all this stuff does make me feel really, really uncomfortable. You know, and I think, you know, it's at this point in time, you got to tell the person, hey, this is if this is happening, you know, something has to be done, because this is just wrong. You know what I mean?
You're talking about KJ attacking Emily, correct?
Oh, I'm just talking about the whole situation. I don't know who's making these threats on whose behalf or whatever, and even her attacks on Emily, I think are unfair. But what I'm saying is that I don't want to, you know, for KJ, I don't know if she's doing it. I don't know what's happening. Right? I don't know if she's doing it. I don't know if people are doing it on her behalf. I don't know if people are doing it to hurt her. Right? Any one of those could be true. But what I'm saying is that, you know, I just am uncomfortable with it. And sometimes you got to tell the people, like, hey, listen, you know, I'm uncomfortable with this, and I'm not accusing you of anything, but, you know, just to let them know, you know, that there are limits to relationships, and if they do know, they need to step forward and just make it right. But it's a delicate balance, because, you know, you do want to give your people who you know the benefit of the doubt, but then you also want to call out the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So right now, I just want to make sure, I support Emily. I hate what happened to her, and I wish her the best. And I hope whoever is doing that or did that to her would go to jail. But and I hope KJ has nothing to do with it. But but I will say this openly: anybody who's doing this, anybody who's making these threats, they should pay full penalty, of course, to the law and call it a day.
Definitely. Now, I hate to stir the tea a little bit, but I have to because my live stream will suck if I don't. Did you know that KJP attacked Emily on Twitter and just went at her like in a hardcore way? Have you heard, or even because you may not have seen it, and I don't want people to in the chat to think that if you haven't known that happened and all, you know what I'm saying? So I just thought I'm not trying to stir drama. I just wanted to bring up that. And
when was this? Because I knew there was like earlier attacks on Twitter. Then it was an apology. Then it was like some more fluff getting back. So, and then I knew about the threats from Reese. But when was this attack?
We're talking about just a few days ago. I did a live stream on the Rock-A-Lot channel where I was going to go live and talk about something completely different. And then across my desk just zooms in these tweets where Katie is trying to jump in with other people that are going at Emily Baker, and she just goes nuts on Emily. She just starts calling her all kinds of stuff and flipping out, and then the other people involved even disavowed her a little bit and said, hey, we don't want you on our side to attack Emily, but it's crazy.
Oh yeah. I saw the one. I think it was the one with the Breonna Taylor thing.
Breonna Taylor thing.
But I did is I saw what's her name? Who comments on the stream? I saw not Emily. KJ comment on the stream, but then I muted the stream because
okay.
I've honestly been taking. I muted the thread. The one thing is that I honestly don't want to get involved with any of this because obviously with the last case that we covered, it was kind of like insane. So here I just felt that because I had this relationship with Katie, which was friendly, and I don't want to, and I feel bad because I don't want I want to throw her under the bus. And I'm cool with Emily because Emily's cool as fuck too. So it doesn't. So it's just like, hey, let me just step back, but there's certain stuff that you just got to call out, and threatening people's kids is not something that's cool. It's not something that's acceptable. That's just what it is. But this back and forth between them, I just really just try to stay out of it. Just keep, and them hating each other doesn't mean that I gotta hate either one of them.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But
me.
I am concerned. but I am highly concerned with this recent stuff. I am highly concerned, and it has made me reevaluate. But I had to also have my own come to Jesus moment because I was like, yo, I'm done with this. This is bullshit, blah blah blah. But then at the point, I'm like, well, you know what? I don't know for sure. I got all this. I feel like this is the way it is, but I don't know. And I would rather not jump to conclusions. But if it is, then you know where I stand straight up. Yeah, I have somebody. I think somebody asked, "Did I talk?" Yes, I have talked to her after recently.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I think you gave a really great response. A lot of people in the live chat are bringing up that those threats, and they believed, and I also believe this, and people want to know what you think. I'm not trying to grill you, but anyway, what do you think though? I don't think that she handled her response to the threats, KJP, properly, like a lot of the chat is saying. I thought she'd come out and maybe not just work with the opposing counsel, because I know Salty was trying to work with Brown to find the people that did this, and Brown wouldn't even call him back. And I thought she'd at least put out a statement on Twitter or even do a video denouncing it, because I denounced it in my video. I talked about how graphic and disgusting it was. And I'm just saying, you'd think a lot of people wanted Katie to denounce at least, attacking Salty's kids. She didn't do any of that. What do you think that she should have, or do you think she handled it? Well, what do you think?
Oh, hell yeah! Of course, you should say this is this is ridiculous. If people doing this on thinking it's helping my case, don't do it. This is wrong. Yeah, you come out. You you make it very clear where you stand on certain things like this, right? On certain things, we should all stand together no matter what they get. Attacking someone, threatening them, that type of thought. That's what we're about. That's what we've always been about. No matter who it is, no matter if it's you, if it's me, if someone does something wrong, we feel like we can say it. And if you just don't like the truth, then that's all she wrote. So I do think at this point in time, you have to step up and you got to say, hey, it's wrong. Because if they would have, like when and I'll even say it, when his name, Leave Rick Ray was doing that to her kids, right? Rick Ray was doing that to her kids. We all stood up and said, hey, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. So, and I think we're on the same page here. If that's happening, someone else, we gotta, we can't have two sets of morals. We were all on her side and said this was wrong. And now I think it's time to do that same thing again.
Yeah, and I agree with everybody out there who thinks that she should have been furious. And that's one thing that gets me from both sides. And when I say both sides, I mean KJP herself and even the people that don't like her or the people that do. I think everybody out there, like you said, there are things that none of us will support. On my list is doxings. On my list is, attacking the kids. And I think you shouldn't even support people who try to go outside the realm of what the other person is publicly putting out there. Of course, to some degree, you got a little bit of a circle too. But anyway, I agree with you completely. And everybody in the live chat, you guys are bringing up all kinds of good stuff. So keep doing it. If I miss anything you say, I got some in. Okay, so good. Thomas is grabbing some, and I think Stuart and Navy are in there. If I miss any of your points or anything, please just retype them or let a moderator know. And like seriously, if you think I'm missing something you're saying, tell a moderator, hey, will you put this in on Uni's list? Because I got a list over here that my moderators can put questions on. And speaking of that, we've got TJ Slaughter says, at this current point, how would Nate go about wrangling the case back to the actual topic of jurisdiction and or defamation? That's a great question. If you were involved, what would you do to get this back on track, Nate?
I don't think there's anything I can do, right? Because it's all out of my hands now. They've got all these filings that the judge is going to be reading. And I wouldn't want to send anything else because now it looks like I'm nitpicking. Oh yeah, but can I now want to file a paper and talk about defamation? Like when you just turned me to 137 pages, didn't even list the word one time. So I would say that at this point, it's really up to me. We're waiting for the judge to come down. If I were the judge, I would just be straight up like, yo, this was all BS, right? This is all garbage. What the hell does this have to do with a motion to dismiss for lack of personal jurisdiction? You know what I'm saying? What the hell's going on? But at the end of the day, this judge has got to make up his mind about, I keep saying make up his mind. I'm so sorry. This judge has to make up her mind because it's a female judge. The judge has to make up her mind on whether she legally has the ability to haul Katie into a Washington court. So this judge, I would say most judges are pragmatic in the sense of they like to cut through all the BS and say, well, hey, listen, I know you guys have told me this great story. Let's get down to the net brass tacks here. What gives me jurisdiction over this defendant? Yes, no. If it's not enough, then no. Case dismissed. And then you got to take your claim someplace else. It just is. I think if this case goes down for jurisdiction, I think the rest of this stuff goes away. I think it goes back to law enforcement. Law enforcement deals with that. And then, the question would be, if Tati loses the motion to dismiss, do they refile in Minnesota? And then if they do refile in Minnesota, do you bring these things up again?
That's a great point, man.
What do you think?
I think they'll refile. I think that could be our clue. I think that if the case is thrown out for jurisdiction and they refile, it proves to all of us that they did have more of an intent than the social media side of things. So that'll be great. And then on the other side of it, if they don't refile, we'll know that maybe a lot of the case was for social media. But, you know, I don't believe that it is for social media, because I did a video where I showed that James Charles, you know, he's got like 20 million subs. He's bigger than Tati. And he DM'd Katie a week, 10 days before she got sued by Tati. I'm sorry, I said that all wrong. He DM'd her a few months before Tati filed the lawsuit and told Katie a big list of things she could do to not get sued. And then about 10 days before she got sued, Katie did a video where she brought up all the things that she ever said defamatory about Tati in like one big beginning of a video. And then Katie took all the DMs with James Charles, put them on the screen, and talked about how James was like a spy for Tati and all these paranoid things. So I fully believe the reason that Tati went through and filed that lawsuit was because Katie just wouldn't stop and kept rubbing it in Tati's face. And honestly, after knowing that, I agree more with Tati filing the suit. And even if she loses, at least she gets some, you know, she gets some relief to all this craziness between her and Katie. Because I hate to keep rambling. If you notice, Katie does that with James Charles. She did it with Tati. She does it with the guy in the Sophie case. If she doesn't, when she goes into a case, she brings all of her feelings. And then if she doesn't like somebody, they become her enemy. And I don't agree with that at all from a perspective of somebody that covers stories. So
think about this though. From the KJ side, I've always found it interesting that, number one, KJ has all these contacts up with these, you know, millionaire subs at 20 million subs. And
Me too.
And Tati with 10 million subs. She has all these contacts. But one thing is, it really shows the problem with this case in the sense of, it seems like she knew it was coming too, Katie. But at the end of the day, you remember, matter of fact, I'll ask you this. You remember the time I think I sent you a video, somebody who did a video about you, about UNIRock.
Yeah.
It was a real low, it was a YouTuber, had maybe like 30 subs or something like that, but they did this whole video about you. Do you even remember what that video was about?
No. I'm not, I don't, to be honest, no.
Absolutely don't remember, right?
No.
That is how, and that person had maybe 100 subs to your, 19,000 subs. You don't remember, you don't even remember that person. If I just show you the video, you probably remember, but you don't remember what the person, and the person was critical of you, right? The person was very critical of you.
I watched
about it. Yeah, and now you know nothing about it. That is what KJ is to Tati Westbrook.
Yeah.
Right? That's exactly what KJ is to Tati Westbrook. She got 130,000 subs to 9 million subs. They're farther apart in subs than you were to this person who made a video about you.
True.
Right? Because Tati's got 9 million to 100,000. So we're talking about millions or more subs. Where you have 19,000, this person has maybe 100, 200. So you just had a couple of thousand subs. You got 1,000 subs more than them, not millions of subs more than them, like between Katie and Tati. You don't remember anything about this. This person was hypercritical of you. And why? Because that person, to somebody at your level on YouTube, is irrelevant. It's irrelevant to your sub count. It's irrelevant to your growth. It's irrelevant to everything. It's interesting to see that people are talking about you. At the end of the day, that person can't move the needle on what you're doing at all, right? That person has no relevance to you whatsoever. And I think that's what Katie is, Tati. She could just totally ignore her. And for her to do this, there's something else here. There's something that it's either something we're missing, or Katie is just so, either Katie is just so nitpicky to them that why would you sue this person? You know what I'm saying? Because this person, I think at the end of the day, based on scale, I think is just not worth it. A defamation suit that you're not going to, that even if you win, you lose, right? Even if you win, you lose.
I used to think that way, man. Like, I swear I used to sit on my live stream and say exactly that. Now that I've seen these James Charles DMs, though, like, he told her that she was going to have a lawsuit, and this was 3 months before she got sued. And she's like, I'm not going to get sued, James. And he's like, yeah, there's a lawsuit. And he said, trust me, trust me, trust me. He told her she said the same thing. She said, I only got 13,000 views on that one and 15,000 on that one. And James said, yeah, but the stuff you said about Tati and her husband has been repeated so much, people, you know, it would bother anybody. And then, I mean, those James Charles DMs, they'll change your mind, man. I mean, because look, James is right next to Tati. You know,
I saw your video, and I agree.
Saw it. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I do not think that. I think when you're trying to evaluate a case, you evaluate it a couple of different ways. You evaluate it for cost, right? How much, you know, what does my client want to get out of it? Do you want to get paid, or do you want to get this person to stop talking? Like, what's the end goal of this? If your end goal isn't about getting paid, but getting this person to be quiet or getting the harassment to stop, then yeah, you do this. You sue this person like this, right? Because then now you put the person on the defense. So I understand. Now you make this person spend money for attorneys and stuff like that. So yeah, so I think in that way, yes, you can fight. But I think a lot of people feel that because Katie has said these things, the defamation is clear. I'm just saying, you know, just honestly, legally, you know, and I'm not the only person saying. Go see the other lawyers who looked at the case. The defamation here is here, but can it survive a motion to dismiss? I don't think it could, but I can be wrong. And I don't think if it doesn't, I don't think the case is going to be over, because I think Tati is invested enough to go to sue her in Minnesota. I think Tati's just invested enough. And I think sometimes people have just say, hey, you know what? I've just had enough. I've had enough with the case. I have enough with the rest. Even if I don't think it's going to be successful, I'm still going to sue. I remember a lawyer who was training me. He had a client. That client said, he told the client, he said, hey, this is going to cost you more than you can get. And she said, no. She said, I don't care. I just want to sue her. Okay, fine.
We've seen that before. Fine. We've seen it before.
Check. So maybe that may be this type of thing. And, you know, but again, you get people, I think people don't understand freedom of our protected speech. If KJ is there on the other side of that computer, giving her opinion in commentary form about these subjects, and these people are people who are famous, right? Who are out there for public attention, who are public figures. I'm sorry, it's going to be hard for Tati to win. I know there's a lot of people who want Tati to win, but it's just going to be hard. I'm not saying she can't. I'm just saying I'll be surprised if she does.
And we've got a bunch of great questions, so let's hit them. And I've got like 5 right now, and people are asking more, so let's go through them real quick. And if I end up keeping you too long, let me know, because you know how I am. I'll get lost when we live stream. Okay, got that one done. Let's start at the bottom. What do you think that Tati should have done after sending the 4 cease and desist and Katie ignored it? Do you think Tati exhausted all of her Katie exhausted all of her patience with Tati there? Or do you think that you know, because you know, it seems like Katie, she said this in a video. She said, go ahead and sue me, Tati. So she kind of asked for it. Do you agree she kind of asked for it?
Yeah, no, she definitely asked for it. 100%. Well, the thing is that I think the one thing that, if you read a lot of these defamation cases, those of you who have the time, look up Tucker Carlson versus Karen McDougal versus Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
Look up that case, and you'll see why I'm leaning on the side of Katie. The reason why is Tucker Carlson. For those of you who don't know the case, Karen McDougal she's still hot, even though she's an older chick too. But she was the Playmate of the Year in like '97 or something like that. She's the woman who's famous for banging Donald Trump. Tucker Carlson went on his show and said that Karen McDougal extorted Donald Trump. I said, I'm going to release this negative information or pay me money. Donald Trump paid the extortion. That's what he said. Donald Trump paid the extortion. He said that he had undisputed facts that it's the truth. And they took that to court. Tucker Carlson admitted the statements were defamatory per se. They were wrong, right? But he said that but the court found that because his channel was a commentary channel, right? And it was giving opinions, and people knew that it was opinions. then he was allowed to use this type of hyperbolic language to make these things, to say these things, to say these things. Now, and the court said that no reasonable person would believe Tucker Carlson is saying is true. Now, you got millions of people who disagree with that, right? Millions of people who think Tucker Carlson is a news show and he's giving you undisputed facts. The court said that those people are not being reasonable. Wow. So, I'm saying that a reasonable person think a YouTuber, right? A YouTuber who's saying these things, would they believe that that person is reporting facts enough where you can hold them accountable? They don't believe Tucker Carlson. She says she's a commentator. Now, even though she says she's a journalist, she says this, she says that. I do agree. But at the end of the day, we all know she's a commentary channel. You know, when she's talking about the Duggars, we know she's not pulling up facts. She's giving opinions about the Duggars and all this other stuff. That is what you have to overcome. You have to overcome that precedent of like the Rachel Maddow show. Same thing when she said she gave a fact that was wrong, and they said it wasn't defamatory because it's a commentary channel. So that's what I'm talking about. Tati has to overcome a huge hurdle, which I think she can overcome. Now, you asked about the 4 cease and desist. I think that goes to actual malice. If those statements, if those cease and desists, because that's what the cease and desist were for. A lot of people don't understand. Is to put you on notice that these statements are false, and if you don't stop saying them, we're going to sue you, and now you can't hide behind actual malice. So those cease and desists are going to be good to show that. But I don't think to some of the statements when they were saying maybe make it up to it. But we'll see, because I think the cease and desist, if anything, are very strong evidence that to overcome actual malice. That if Tati can prove that the statements in the cease and desist were false, they told her that was false. They gave her evidence that they were false, and she continued to say them. That way, I think it is Tati's best claim. But again, we got to see what's going on.
Well, I've got another question that goes right along with what you just said. I didn't know this. I've got a fact that I was given by the live chat, so if I'm wrong on this, make sure you tell me. But somebody made the claim in the live chat tonight that this is the second time KJP's YouTube channel has been sued for defamation. Anybody know about that? It was supposedly sued by Jilly Juice, but it was thrown out due to jurisdictional reasons, I suppose. I had no clue. I think this is good information if it's true, but
I'd have to look.
Yeah.
What court was it? Anything? You know, what was it? Was it Without a Crystal Ball that sued? You know, what is it?
Yeah, supposedly Without a Crystal Ball was sued by Jilly Juice. Now, I'm not making the claim, live chat and everybody listening, so don't go around saying, oh, hold on, everybody is saying it's true. Hold the front door. How do I not learn these things until now? How do I not know that? This is freaking, like, I need to do a video now and tell everybody about this. Did you know that? Nate, did you know?
At it. I am looking. No, I didn't. I'm looking for it now.
Plus, Jilly.
I just Googled. Does anybody have a case site or something like that?
Somebody's saying Jilly sued in small claims court in a different state. Supposedly it was in Ohio. KJ was sued by Jilly Juice, but Jilly sued in small claims court in Ohio. Tornedge says, I don't know if the lawsuit went through, but that was the reason that she connected with you know, Kyle's channel. I remember that she talked. I didn't know she got sued, and that's why she talked to Kyle's channel. But I thought it was just because she covered Jilly Juice. But yeah. Okay. Police with Wife Life says check Ohio. Yeah, I mean Nate might be able to find it. Who knows? Look up Jillian. Her name is in the Jilly Juice has shared her last name, right? Okay. Jillian Epperly is the lady that sued her. If you want to look, I'm not saying we need to pull it up or anything, but now, because the question we have is about this with KJP being sued a previous time, does that affect this case at all? Can they say, look, she's getting sued all the time for defamation if it was thrown out or if it didn't go through? Does it even matter?
Say that one more time.
The question was, since KJP has been sued for defamation before, does that matter now?
No, usually propensity doesn't matter. It does matter
when
it comes to punishment, but to find guilt, it generally doesn't matter.
Oh, it does matter in punishment. Okay. Like to think
generally
about
in punishment, but I'd have to see because usually it's about what happened in this particular case for these particular facts. Just because you did it before doesn't mean you did it this particular time.
Yeah, because if you're innocent,
the rule, yeah. So
all right.
the rules are very are funny that way.
Okay. Well, that was just somebody's question. Can Saltsy bring that up, or can he not use prior lawsuits? Was the question. So, okay.
Well, there's a rule in the Federal Rules of Evidence. I forget which number it is. I'm not sure if it's in 400. Well, it's got to be in the 5. I think it's a 400 something. But there's a rule about prior bad acts. So you can't generally bring up evidence of prior bad acts unless it's connected to the claim. So, but I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But generally, you can't use evidence of propensity. Just the evidence that you've did it before, it's more likely that you did it this time, is generally not admissible in court.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Now, okay, Jenna being sued the second time for defamation. Will it matter? We got that out of the way. Find it strange her lawyer, I'm sure, has been saying be quiet, but she hasn't been quiet up until now. And the member of the chat set wants to know why. Why do you think Katie just now decided to be quiet about the case on social media? Do you have any theories?
They could have heard from the judge. They could have heard from the judge. But I don't know for a fact, but I'm assuming.
All right.
Friday the judge could have came and said, "Hey, this is starting to get crazy. Nobody say anything until I get, until I this or do that." But again, that's just pure speculation. But or she could have just taken the legal advice and said, "Hey, I'm just not going to say anything," which is good.
I think so too. Okay, well, we've gone through a lot of questions, and I don't want to make the entire stream about, the questions, but so the last two here, I think we'll just go with that for now. But could Tati want an RO or an NDA, and could that be why she sued? And then the other question that we can kind of just talk about is, with Onision being demonetized based off of YouTube behavior, is it possible it could happen to KJP? So we got what could Tati want? An RO, an NDA, for her to be quiet, take her channel, throw her out of the United States? And then also, do you think that KJP will ever be demonetized? So I'll weigh in after you.
The second one about whether she'll be demonetized, that's all YouTube stuff. I'm not sure. It all depends on the content and that type of stuff. So I'm just not sure about that one. First, the first question, about what was the first question again? The second one's about demonetizing.
Yeah, the first one was, could Tati just want like an NDA, or could she want other things?
I'm thinking Tati's doing the same thing that Katie actually did to leave McVeigh.
Yeah, and
what I mean by that is, you get the harassment restraining order, force them to come to court, and then negotiate to force them to sign an NDA. So he had the harassment restraining order. She forced him to go to court and then sign the NDA. I'm assuming that that's really what this is about. He may want just her to stop. So you sue. If you can get past the motion to dismiss, come to the table. Hey, listen, I just want you to stop talking about me. You sign an NDA, and we move on with our lives. It'll be more than worth it to them, more than worth it to Katie. And if she breaks the NDA, she has to pay a price. That would probably be the best thing for Katie. I think Katie can get that now if she wanted to. But it really all depends. I think if Katie wanted to end this now, I think she can go and say, "Hey, listen, I'll just stop talking about you guys. I think you guys have a loser of the case, but let's just end it. I'm not going to talk about you guys anymore. You don't talk about me, and we go on with our lives." And I think that would work, but I'm not sure if Katie's there yet. But the way the case looks right now, I think that might just be the ultimate goal, just to get for Tati, just to get them to be quiet, because it's not about money. It's got to be about something else.
I agree. I'm trying to get my cloud bot to work, get Streamlabs to kick in for you guys. Looks like you got Streamlabs, peeps. So make sure the mods remind people how to join like treasure hunts, duel other people, play the slot machine, because if you type in the chat in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to be giving you all 100,000 points to use in the live chat for watching. So, because I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate all the questions. So I'm going to give away 100,000 free rocks. But I got to make sure Streamlabs is working before I do it, because let's try to trigger Streamlabs. Also, make sure you're subscribed to Nate the Lawyer. He's his link has been dropped in the chat a lot. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do subscribe. And let's go ahead and I'm going to just do a 30-second thing, Nate, real quick. Do you have to grab a drink or anything like that? Or am I keeping you too long? All right. I'll mute out for about a minute, and then I'll come back in and let you know. Here we go. All right. So while Nate gets a drink and while we try to get Streamlabs working, come on, CloudBot. I'm logged into UNIRocktv here. Can you give me my chat, CloudBot? Give it to me. Give me the chat. Anybody see Streamlabs? Because we gotta make sure Streamlabs is popping up before I give you these free rocks. Either way, do not go anywhere. We are live with Nate the Lawyer. I could bring up his channel. And damn, you guys, I really appreciate you being here. I think it means a lot, because we haven't streamed on UNIRocktv in a while. So it's really awesome to see us pulling a few 300 or so people to watch. That's really good. It's really awesome. I appreciate you all. And Streamlabs is working, says D Nice. Excellent. I don't know why I can't see Streamlabs. Let me restart my chat, because I want to see it. I want to make sure you're going to get these free rocks. Did I just close? I just closed my... No, I didn't. It's right there. Okay. Now I think I might be able to see Streamlabs here in a second. Let me just move my monitor. All right. What are rocks? I'm glad you asked. Andy's mom, Sammy, I'm glad you asked. Rocks are a point system. The longer you watch my live streams, every minute that you're watching my live streams is going to give you a certain amount of rocks. They're like money. It's like UNIRocktv money. You can only use it in my live chat. Rocks are like, people try to compete to be the top 10 rocks holders, and other people like to gamble their rocks. You can gamble them on slot machines in the live chat. You can duel other people. You can go on treasure hunts and stuff like that, and go on pirates trips and stuff. You'd have to, I hope that, can I please get my moderators to type a little bit of what you can do with the rocks? Remind people. And I'm going to give out, I don't see Streamlabs. Maybe it's because the chat is just moving so fast that I can't see it. That might be it. But I'm being told that Streamlabs is working. So I'm giving out 100,000. The reason why you got to spam emojis or type in the chat is because the only way you get rocks is by being in the live chat and watching the show. Here comes 100,000 of them. Nate the Lawyer. Right here is his YouTube channel. Please subscribe to Nate the Lawyer, and make sure you're subscribed here with the bell turned on. That's why CloudBot's turned off. There's like the 9th time I've turned it on. All right, let me reload CloudBot. All right, and we are going to be talking a little more, not just about the Tati Westbrook case. There's been a filing in the Swanson case. There's been developments on social media. There's been rumors going around. There's been all this craziness with all these stories. And YouTube, our community is getting bigger. More people are getting interested in all these things. It's just an exciting time right now. Hey, whoa, where'd that come from? Spurgy, thank you for the support. You guys are too awesome. Damn, Spurgy, you just made this whole stream. You just paid for the whole stream right there. I've made my paycheck today. So here we go. Going to the loyalty points, adding points to all viewers. 100,000 points. I'm gonna pay it out in 10 seconds. Thanks for watching. Nate's going to be right back. And as soon as I hit this button, we're going to keep talking about this. This is UNIRock Live, hosted on UNIRocktv for the first time in a month. I love it. All right. We've got the best live chat. We always have had the best live chat. ever in the history of YouTube on this channel. It's like PewDiePie's live chat up there. It always is like that here. It's always like that here. Thank you for joining. Trixie, glad to have you. All right. I've unmuted. You back, Nate? All right. All right, lawsuit review. I'm just playing. So, a lot more is going on out there than just the Tati Westbrook lawsuit. We've got, you know, the 2 lawsuits with Tati Westbrook. We've got all the craziness going on in the community. We've got Emily Baker. Your channel has just blown up. Nate the Lawyer's channel. Nate the Lawyer on YouTube, blown up. Emily Baker, the Lawyer on YouTube, blown up. We've got all these people just rushing into the community. They love the commentary. They love the live streams. What's it like now, a few months after your channel's blown up and you've gotten used to, you're settling in to the new way that everything operates? How are you handling it? How are you liking it, man?
It's interesting because I forgot how tough this YouTube game was to get to the point where you got 10,000 subs, right? Usually for those of you who don't know, YouTube is hard. This is not easy at all. And about 10 years to get, and I mean, not 10 years, 5 years to get 10,000 subs on average. It's an average time to take you. So when you get, you know, up to the 10,000, 50,000 subs, because you put in a lot of work. And you just look at my channel, I put in a lot of work. I do a lot of research and I put in a lot of work. It's good to see the fans reward you with subbing. And one thing that I found now that's different than, because don't forget, like almost a year and a half ago, I had maybe I didn't have enough subs to even be monetized. You know, I was under 1,000 subs. So with me, the number one thing, it's weird in a sense where now, you know, a lot of my friends were like, oh, here's a big YouTuber. And I'm looking around like, who's the big YouTuber? And I forgot. I'm like, oh, I'm the guy that they're talking about now. I'm supposedly the big YouTuber, but I'm like, I only got 50,000 subs. I'm not that big. But it makes me appreciate. Like, I remember when we first met earlier on, and when I first joined the Discord, how you were always meticulous and this is what I want to do. These are the scripts I have to do. Here's my schedule. Here's that. Here's this. And, you know, to see the business side behind the production, because most people just see the end production and they don't see what goes into that production. And that started showing me that even though what I was seeing from the show wasn't really what went into the show, most people don't realize that there are hours that Uni puts into this, right? You start talking about stories days before doing it. You do so much research and putting into it. I've been a part of those conversations where, you know, we're trying to find out sources, we're running down leads, we're just the thought process, what can we tell people, what's responsible, what's not responsible, and that stuff takes hours to do. And it's, you know, we have people in there who we bounce ideas off of. So the product that people get at the end, a lot of work, a lot of thought that's put into it to give people something that's not only entertaining but informative. And it's working with people like Uni, like my man Dragnot. Dragnot taught me how to monologue, how to not fear the camera, how to understand how to hold an audience's attention for more than 5 minutes. You know, those things are just so important, and you just can't learn these things from somewhere. But the resources, Uni used to do Discord, well, not Discord, your tutorials would help me do what's it called, OBS. When I was using OBS, you used to do these tutorials about how to use OBS, how to do this, how to do that. So our community, my channel, to be honest with you, is not a product of me just coming on YouTube one day, starting a channel and getting 50,000 subs. It's been a product of, you know, a little bit from here, a little bit from here, a little bit from here, a little bit support from here, and all of us coming together and also all working together to get to a certain point. You know, Uni's gotten to his point, I've gotten to my point, and now we all try to help each other go to the next level. And that's what it's always been about. It's always been, you know, my success, to say my success is my success alone would be foolish. You know, my success, I stand on the shoulders of others, and, you know, and we still rise together. And that's kind of how I see my success now on YouTube.
Yeah, man, I agree completely. And to talk about those tutorials, I am starting them up again. People are bombarding me with wanting more, and they usually do like really good on my channel. I need to get them up. Yeah, you're right. That's why I always, when going into, you know, other communities, try to give them some advice or try to like guide them a little bit. Not to say that I know what I'm talking about or anything, because I don't. I've only been on YouTube for like 4 or 5 years, so I'm not an expert or anything. But I tried to, because I've seen communities that focus more on attacking other people and you know, doing streams where there's no preparation. Like, that kind of shocks me when I go to someone's channel and they're like, not to say that you can't just have somebody come on and go live. I do it on my other channel all the time, but when I've been around other YouTubers and saw some that don't put any prep into it, I'm like, hey, man, if you do this and do this, you might have a better product. You might have a better turnout. And yeah, you're right. We do forget that. And I don't know if the audience does realize that it depends on the channel you're watching, because you got channels that'll just go live or they'll just upload. And then you got channels that put a lot of work into it. So, you know, we do try to be as fair as possible. That's one reason why I think you've done really well, Emily. There's a thing that's in common with you and Emily and the other YouTube lawyers, and I do it a lot, depending on if I'm doing what kind of video I'm doing. But you guys are fair. You guys look at both sides. You guys just don't go in there and say, I hate this person, I'm not going to talk to him. I hate this person, or this person's hated by the community, I'm going to just take someone's side. You guys actually look at everything, ask questions, and break it down. And that's why I think we all got along, because I've done that. I've made that kind of something I do here too. So I think it's important. I'm glad we all do that, actually.
Yeah,
and they don't do it everywhere.
They don't. And you know, it's interesting because even, you know, like Emily Baker, she comes on my channel, I went on her channel, you know, with Katie. She gave us all the shout outs earlier, you know. So our community, I think our community is strong in the sense of we all want each other to be successful. I think where our community breaks down is that people then take small things too seriously.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we still got people having death threats over the definition of atheism. When did the definition of a word become so serious that now people have to, you know, it's threatening to kill each other over the definition and off a defamation suit? We're talking about a motion to dismiss. You know, it's just, we're a whole bunch of passionate people. But I think at the end of the day, we love what we do. I love doing it with the people who we do it with, and you know, I feel I have a friend who's a YouTuber. And one thing that was that I've always found interesting is that he says that he doesn't like to engage with the fans too much, because, or engage with the community too much, because he doesn't, you know, he's like, it's a business, you know. He's the product, and he gives, you know, like, after I sell you the Coke, I don't ask you how it tastes, right? If you're gonna buy another one, you're gonna buy another one. But I don't. But the thing is that I don't think I can't be that way, because I've always talked to the fans, right? We've always been a community, right? It's always been that way. And that's the way that our community has always grown, right? We always listen to each other and get ideas, challenge each other, and all that stuff. And I think that's what makes us stronger. And like this KJ stuff, most people don't realize with KJ, with, I'm going to just say his real name, Steve, with all these people, we were all friends with these people before. This isn't like the people that we don't know.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, we just, you know, I think at the end of the day, people forget this was always about our community and not about any one individual person. And the people who usually get into trouble are the people who try to make it just about them and not about us. You know what I mean?
You're right. That's actually true. That is true. That's weird, because there are some things that some of the people that are facing a lot of backlash, or who've had a lot of people abandon their community, they all have a little bit of those commonalities, selfishness, and always concerned with them. And thank you, Kelly. Appreciate that. So yeah, I think it kind of shows where, you know, maybe where they went wrong. And, you know, we did our best. I did my best to try to give KJ advice on just those two little things, you know. And she would have done that, solved 100 problems she's got right now. And I think that's the thing that you and the rest of the people I've talked to, they're so open. You know, you guys don't get offended when people try to give you criticism. You guys want criticism. You want people to talk to you. So and it's weird seeing the commonalities there. So look, I haven't seen this new filing, and some people want to know why we didn't talk about the Swanson thing. I haven't even seen it yet. We got, you know, we're going to try to get to that sometime later the weekend and look at it. And we know that this Tati thing, one thing I wanted to ask Nate, because he would know this. How long is this thing going to go if it doesn't get thrown out for jurisdiction? Because the last one we looked at went on for 1.5 years. It's not even done yet, and it was a miserable experience, that last lawsuit. Is it possible that this thing could go on for a long time? Like years?
Yeah, but it's possible. But I'm thinking right now, I'm hoping we have maybe a month or 2 months left with this phase of this lawsuit, because right now the court is being asked if it even has the ability to hear this case. So that's the first decision that has to be had. So if yes, then we strap in, because we're going to be in for a long ride. If no, the case is over and we got to see what happens next. So it really depends on what this judge decides at this stage in the trial. But again, you know, we got a lot going on here. This could end up, which is crazy, dismissing the civil action, but then having a whole nother criminal action because of the whole threats and everything. So we got a lot going on here, but we'll see. And I'll also say this: Solte, I'm assuming Solte wouldn't bring a case he couldn't win. I mean that I'm assuming Solte's going to bring a case to the court that he feels he can win. But it's still such a weak case though. I really don't think Tati has as strong of a case as everybody believes that she has. But we'll see. Because I've been wrong before in the past, and I could be wrong about this.
What about this though? Because we know there's now, you know, defamation kind of opened the door in this case. It got Solte in there to start doing what he's doing. Is defamation can you be sued? You can be sued for harassment. You can be sued for defamation. You can be sued for other things. Is it possible Solte's opened the door to other charges?
You would have had to put that
suits.
Well, he did. He put a couple of different charges in this particular lawsuit. But again, I think Tati, for some reason, and again, this is me theorizing again. You know, I have no evidence of this. I'm gonna make it very clear. I have no evidence of this, and this is totally made up. This is just something I just was thinking about. It seems like James Charles and whoever else, right? The people who are with Tati. It seems like Katie was their outlet of information, right? With even the James Charles DMs and all that stuff. So Katie was the person reporting all this stuff about Tati, and all these other people knew. So whatever she was doing was getting to the right people. Right? Whatever she was saying was getting to the right people. And I think that is what caused the backlash, because this was to get Katie to stop talking, which it has stopped her from talking about the Westbrook. But now I'm just saying, who does that benefit? You know, does it benefit James Charles? You know, why would he tell Katie to stop? You know, to be careful, to be quiet, to not be sued. You know what I'm saying? Just all out of the blue. Hey, girl, you know, be careful. They're gonna sue you. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he knew, or they must have been talking about this months ago. Like, hey, we're going to sue this woman. This is the plan. The plan is to let's do this, let's set her up, and let's get her and let's sue her. And for him to just come out the blue and warn her like that, it seems like she's been, you know, they've been talking about this for a while. This was in the works, and she kind of walked right into it. So,
it does. Those James Charles DMs just they bring so many questions to the table. Like, I could never, witnessing the way the dialogue happened, it seemed so weird. Because I would have approached it in such a more kind of professional way, a more open way. I don't know if I would have accused him of things. Oh man, that's why I did the video on it. I'm like, you know, I'd never seen this. And it seems like such a trivial thing until you look at it and you're like, fuck, dude, this could be the whole thing that Tati and James and others have this other big YouTuber, Jeffree Star, who they now are saying is the bad guy. And I know Katie has done all these videos to try to throw shade and expose Jeffree Star. So it's like, to see that Katie is now being sued by Tati, it's almost nuts, man.
But I do want to say this. We talked about this before. Katie is missing a huge opportunity here to grow her channel, right? It's because now you're being introduced to millions and millions of other fans, from Tati Westbrook. You're being sued. Emily's getting hundreds of thousands of views. I'm getting tens of thousands of views. And Civil Law's getting, people are covering the case all over the place, right? This is your time to shine. If I was Katie, I'd be doing more content, right? Because when people come and look at my channel, they're gonna be like, who is this woman being sued by Tati Westbrook? And if they see the content, they may just like your content and subscribe to your channel. It is one of the best things that can possibly happen.
Oh, I know.
YouTube channel, because your message is now amplified. But now I think she's taking that message and she's just not capitalizing on it. I just don't know. I would have tried to capitalize on it, but maybe she doesn't want to. I see some of the content she's putting out, but I would have taken this as a public relations blessing. You know what I'm saying? It would have been great.
You're right. You told me that a long time ago, and I agreed with you completely that in the beginning of this, all of us thought that you got, Katie has one of two choices. One, she talks about this, or two, she doesn't. And you'd think that she'd say to herself, if I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to do videos on it. I'm going to get views off of it. I'm going to, explain myself. Fucking A, dude. It's like there is so much attention being given by this thing that's happened. And instead of do any of that, it's almost like she'll try to get views off of all these other topics, except when it comes to this one that includes her. It's almost mind-boggling. I mean, she does talk about it on Twitter and on live streams on Insta, so why not talk about it on YouTube? I don't know.
Well, I just feel if you can get, she's got millions of eyes looking at her, and I think she should have flipped this into a free speech argument. They're trying to kill my free speech, because that's what this is. It's a free speech argument, right? I'm a creator. I'm an independent journalist. She doesn't like what I'm saying about her, and then you fight on the merits. Hey, look, this isn't false. This is what the court documents say. You lay it out there. You let people see exactly why this statement is an opinion. This statement is false. So you can give ammo to the people who support you. You give them the ammo to help fight for you on the arguments. But now nobody, there's no argument she's put out there that nobody can fight. People are saying that, hey, you said that he killed his mother. You said this. People don't have she hasn't made arguments yet to deny any of that stuff. So it's difficult.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, legally, I think her position is better legally, but that could change in a heartbeat.
Why? Okay. Let me say it this way. If it was me, I would have went and did a video that explained all that garbage that was thrown out. Like, I said this that day, and I would have put the whole minute of what I said. And then I would have said, this does not defame because of this. I said this day. And I thought that's what she was going to do, because she was in my Discord server. She came in when this lawsuit got filed against her, and then she was talking to me about it. And it was like, oh, you cover it. And I'm like, I'll cover that shit all day, Anyway, why? What? The thing that got me, and it made me feel really weird in the beginning, was she deleted the clips. She took it all off her channel, the ones that were left, because there was a lot that weren't from those original 3 videos. So I really, and maybe you can elaborate on how you feel about it, and because you've talked to her also, we have that interaction. Doesn't it make it look really bad that she deleted the paragraphs that were mentioned in the first filing? I felt like it did.
And maybe just excuse my ignorance to the matter. I'm not sure she deleted it, because she could have unlisted it, or she could have just
took it down, took it away,
taken it down. That wouldn't actually be violating the orders. You can say, I'm taking it down because I don't want people to see it, but it's still there, it's still available. So if she deleted it, that's a mistake. Obviously, you shouldn't delete that.
But what if she just took it down? It still looks bad on the YouTube side of things. Shouldn't people be able to go watch it, make up their mind?
And that's what I'm saying. Winning the case versus winning the hearts and minds of everyone else. I would say, hey, I would ask my lawyer, what do you think? Should I leave this up or should I take this down? And the lawyer says, leave it up, then it's fine. The lawyer says, well, hey, let's remove it from public view because we see everybody's, reaching out to Salty right now anyway. Let's just take it down and preserve it for discovery. That's something I can see Salty doing.
Okay. So here, Nate, I want to ask you like the hardcore stuff, but I'm going to answer it with you because this is like, thank you, Gene, by the way. Thank you. This is like the heart of the whole thing. All of us have this thought in our head. All of us want to know, because Katie got up on YouTube. She had a couple thousand subs. She did a couple videos, a couple live streams. She said what she was thinking. She said, she came up with this content and performed it. She put it out. And now she's being sued for defamation. What? It could have happened to me. It could have happened to you. It could happen to PewDiePie. It could happen to the next YouTuber. Is it wrong that she's being sued for defamation? Shouldn't she be able to say what she wants to say? Break it down to the most basic level for me and what you think about how, the day before she's talking about all these things the Westbrooks did, and the next day, all of it's this way because she gets sued. What do you think? Is she in the wrong? Should she not have been able to say what she said? What is your opinion?
Oof.
I know it's hard, but that's the baseline of it. So,
two things is that, number one, all depends on how well researched. Now, when I looked through the complaint, I was going to cover the complaint. When I looked through the complaint, the first thing I did was look at at the statements. Right here are the statements. I didn't look at the videos; just looked at the statements. Here are the statements, and some of the statements are just pure opinion. I'm like her saying, I forget what she's saying. This is like, you're a bad businessman. Well, that's an opinion, so that's not defamation. No court's gonna, if you say, if I say you're a bad businessman, nobody's gonna care about that. So some of those things that were just alleged are going to be thrown out because they're just not good for defamation. Some of them, I'm saying, are going to be thrown out. Like me and Uncivil Law, when we did our stream, we said, the stuff from Halo Beauty and the stuff from what's her name, from Tati Westbrook herself, are going to be thrown out because it's actual malice. The standard's so high. Is there a shot? Yeah, but it's just the standard's so high. We don't think they're gonna think. So whatever Katie said about her, okay. The thing about James Westbrook, may not be a public figure, so even that, I think they may have a shot. But at the end of the day, when I looked through the allegations, the one thing that I kept seeing was that, two instances I'll bring forward. The first one is about KJ implying that James killed his mother.
Yes.
She never said James killed his mother. She implied it, right? She said, well, he took her off of oxygen, or she did this, or he did the order or something. Now, she got that from a case in which the sister said that James took her mother off oxygen. So in reading the statement, she never said he killed his mother, right? That's what the statement she said was something like, and he took his mother and he ordered his mother's oxygen. He ended his mother's thing and took his mother off oxygen. And then the Salty said, implying that he killed his mom, But when you read through the case, it seems a little different, where the mom was terminally ill, and they said their goodbyes. It just actually happened to my friend of mine, where the mom was terminally ill, and they stopped doing that. So I'm just saying, it's when looking at everything point by point by point, it seems like it's not as strong as I thought it was. But you don't have the right to defame anybody. and you have to be careful what you say. And I think if you're going to say, if we're going to allow a world where the National Enquirer can say what they're going to say, then we're going to have to allow Katie to say what she's going to say, right? Because it's in that same sphere. But again, I to really make a really informed decision, I really have to look at the statements again. But the statements that I've read, it just seems to be a lot of them just don't seem to be enough to really carry the day for a defamation claim. But again, I could be wrong because each jurisdiction is different.
Okay, well, the live chat is putting out some of those like really, really bad things. Like, is that KJ's point? Is that where she's wrong? Look, in other stories, one thing I've noticed in looking at her actual content, because, I didn't really watch her content or look at it much. But once this all happened, I started to look, especially since the James Charles DMs. I noticed that what you just said, where she's implying a thing, and then, that's what we've always fought against. Hold on, let me make this point. When I debunked conspiracy theories for the first couple of years I did YouTube, that was one of my main problems with the conspiracy theorists, is that they always allude to the fact that this conspiracy is absolutely real, but at the same time, they say the opposite, or they just never come out and say it. Is it that, is she in this hot water because she's constantly alluding that people are criminals, constantly alluding that this crazy thing is going to happen? That's like her clickbait titles. She goes live and says, "That's it, I quit, I'm done." She writes these titles out, and you go in there and you're like, you didn't say anything that relates to this title. Anyway, I'm going off in the left field. Is that her main point, that she alludes so hard that she convinces people and then she gets in trouble? What do you think there?
I don't know. It's because it's defamation is about making a false statement that can be proven to be false, right? That's what defamation is. It's a false statement that I can prove is false. Opinions, you can't prove opinions to be false, right? Because they're opinions. So it just, again, I understand. I just, it's a tough case. It's a tough case. But it's one of those things. It's interestingly enough, I can see both sides winning. But I just, like I said, I'm really 60-40 or 70-30 Katie. It's not, it's not overwhelmingly so. But it's tough. I'm actually trying to look at. What I want to do. I want to look up. I want to look up the case. I want to look up her case again. What I want to do is I want to see some of those statements because I really, when I looked at the statements, I just didn't see defamation there. Because I remember I did the homework too, one, and I was really looking for what was the like some of the worst statements. Does anybody have in the chat? They can also help too. What's some of the worst in the lawsuit that is alleged to KJ? You can point me to a page or something. Let's see if I can pull it.
Well, that's the hard part, because remember, when Katie got sued, she came into my Discord and said, "Uni, my lawyer's throwing this shit out. They're not going to get nothing." Wait, let me say this really quick. Guys, we have a Rock-A-Lot after show. The YouTube channel Rock-A-Lot is our after show, and the link is in the chat. Oh shit, what did I just do? No, don't. Damn it, don't do that. Stop, computer, stop. I'm going to pin this comment. I want to just make sure people, if you're not subscribed to my other channel, I do all my long live stream and stuff there. So the other channel link is pinned now, and that's where I'm going to be there for the after show. So if we miss any questions or anything, you can come to the live stream after this. Yeah, I had the live chat list some of them. And yeah, I'd love for the live chat to tell us what are the worst things Katie said. And even if you have some of them from the lawsuit, but I know that one was implying that he was a career criminal, because he's not a career criminal. She didn't have enough evidence to show that. And implying that he also killed the mother. Those are the two really bad ones.
Here's one. This one says, it's line 92 of the complaint. Upon information of belief regarding plaintiff James Westbrook, the extreme and outrageous conduct defendant included, but not limited to, a series of harassment and public harassment where defendants published various medians false statements James was a thief who stole from his dying mother, intentionally caused his mother's death, engaged in fraud. So they're not saying exactly what she said. They're saying that this is what Katie said. So I'm trying to see what statement, because if you're in this complaint, usually you have a statement like she said this.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out what statement, because I've heard a lot of people talking about the dying mother.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what was the actual words that she actually said.
Well, Naima makes a good point. You also have to look at the videos, because the videos kind of carry why. But some more of them.
Hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
I found it.
Oh, you got it.
For those of you who are here, this is page 13 in the complaint. This is actually on line 6. The lines don't match up, but it's E. It's subsection E from the statements, because they list out the statements. Now, one thing most people don't understand is that in the defamation suit, you have to actually list out the statements in the complaint, right? Because you're saying somebody defamed me. But if you don't put the actual statement in the complaint, then they can throw out your complaint, right? Because you got to show this is what the person said. This is why it's defamation. So even though I know people are saying you got to watch the video, but the video doesn't matter, right? It depends on what they put on the page, because that's what they're going to be judging. This is what the person said. So here, these are the exact words that they said Katie said about James and according to the mother, right? So, upon information or belief, right? This is from the video. Paulson said, as a fact, not of opinion. So let's see. On June 3rd, 2019, quote, he hasn't changed. He stole money from his dying mother, took out loans in her name while she was sick and ill, and stole $340,000 from a lender in California. Right, so that was the first statement. So that's so stealing money from the dying mother. Then here's another one she said.
Well, hold on real quick. If Tati Westbrook or James Westbrook is watching this, we are being very clear to say these things get you sued. We are not making those statements. These were said by KJP. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we're reading from the complaint.
Yeah.
That James stole money from his dying mother and has a long rap sheet, which is true. He does have a rap sheet.
Well, it's not long. Another one. He had 2 from being a teenager, so I get where that might be defamatory, though, right?
But again, this is opinion versus fact.
Okay.
If he had no criminal history, then you're saying, okay, that's a false statement. But if you have any criminal history, would make you a career criminal. 1, 2, 3, a couple when you're younger.
Man, that's why it's good to talk to you about it, because you got the law side in there. I'm sitting here like, he ain't no career criminal because of that. But yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's a matter of opinion. Here's another one. Now this is what what the complaint says. I'm on page 24. It says she stated that court records show that he took his mom off oxygen, right? And then Salty puts to imply that he intentionally killed his mother. So the complaint doesn't say she actually said he killed his mother, but she implied it. It's not defamation, right? If I'm implying something, I haven't defamed you. If somebody has to decode what I'm saying, so it's here again. I just want to say, if it's in here, if she's alleging that Katie said that he killed his mom, they didn't allege that in the complaint. They said that she implied it, but they didn't. They never said she said those exact words. She made that allegation. That's what I'm talking about. That's what makes this defamation claim about him saying he killed. She said that Katie said that he killed his mom. That's what makes it weak, because it's saying that the words that she said, you're saying implied that, but it applies it to one person and it doesn't apply it to somebody else. That can make it technically an opinion. It's her opinion.
Yeah, Maloney says go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, Maloney just said the court didn't make James pay all court costs. The court ordered the estate of the mother pay the bills. His sisters were involved, unlike what KJ says. So I just wanted to say that so that, it's on the record. KJ misrepresented some of the stuff about the court case, but go ahead.
I'll even take that. Let's take that as true. KJ read the court case and misrepresented it, right? So what the actually thing said, the estate paid versus this paid, is that enough? Is that enough?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. that enough to be defamatory? But again, I think there's some defamation here where you can find. I think when you really just look at the complaint and say, okay, what exactly did she say? What exactly was alleged? You know, and again, here she doesn't use those words. We're interpreting what she's saying to say those things. And again, you know, a judge can look at this differently. I'm just reading it and just saying, you know, if she said James killed his mom, then I'm like, all right, you got defamation. But if she says, oh, you know, they took her off of.
Well, taking her off oxygen is killing the mom, though, right? It's like saying I stabbed you, but you know, stabbed you in the heart. Again,
it seems like they're saying killing the inferences. They killed her mom intentionally to take money from her. But versus I took my mom off oxygen because she was dying. Like a friend of mine just I'm going to a actually tomorrow. Tomorrow is the funeral. I'm going to a funeral for my neighbor. My neighbor passed away. I'm going to her funeral, and her daughter took her off life support. But I wouldn't say her daughter killed her, right? That she didn't kill her. She took off life support because she was in hospice care. That's different, and so that's what I'm saying. You know, these words matter, and I understand people. KJ is the big bad, and everybody wants to say the big bad, but I'm looking at it from a technical legal perspective. You know, did she say these exact words? And if she didn't say these exact words, can I get what you want me to believe she really said? Can I get that? And then what do the documents say? What do these court documents say? Is it true? Did she pull her mom off oxygen? Right?
True.
Did she pull her mom off oxygen? Was she in hospice care? What was the situation? You know, just because somebody said something doesn't mean, you know what I mean? There's a lot more here that I think we get.
Well, and also, mods, if you see something Jeanette says, make sure you put it on the list for me, because I guess Jeanette was asking some questions and we didn't see those questions. And if that happens, I apologize. It's just kind of hard. I'm not looking at the chat the whole time. But also, there was one other thing I wanted to say in response to someone, and I lost it. See, that's how fast it is to lose the live chat. So I get what you're saying. You're saying that from a legal standpoint, defamation is something that if you're not very specific with it, you can get up there and argue that's not what I said and get out of the legal ramification. Though, we got to remember something here, and you're a lawyer, so you have to think this way. I don't, and that's why it's really good that we talk and everything, because I still, regardless of this entire lawsuit, regardless of everything else, KJ should have never, ever said that about James Westbrook's mother, Tati Westbrook's mother-in-law. Never went there. And I hate to say it, man, there's some content that like if you go and you start like, because when I talk to KJ, I swear to God, she did 5 videos a day. How do you even track that shit? I never followed any of her content, but a lot of her content, it really does make me think that she could be open for even more lawsuits in the future if you look at some of the things that she said. Not saying they'll win. I know defamation's hard, but, you know, she's done some really fucked up shit and pulling some private data from people. It wasn't that she pulled the private data for her videos. It was that she shared it. And that was one of the main issues, is that she was very prone to share that. The stuff that she dug out of her lawsuits, even if it was extremely private about private people, she would throw that stuff out there, share it with people, DM it to people, talk about it on Twitter, bring it up in her streams, delete the streams because, oopsie, I shouldn't have said that. And I think that's KJ's main problem. I think her main problem is she thinks that by deleting those streams, what she did, in my opinion, because she deletes so much, that she ended up getting so used to it that she kept making the mistake. You know, if you have to leave your stream up and people come at you for it, you're like, okay, fine. You know, I was dumb there. Oh, yeah, I've learned my lesson. But when you delete it away and nobody ever sees it, or barely anyone sees it, then, you know, you don't learn anything. You don't get it. It doesn't stick. So I do think that could be an issue for her also. But yeah, I'm with you, man.
I think one of the biggest issues that a lot of people are just missing too is that she got the CDs, the cease and desist. She actually followed them, right? She followed them. So the couple of them, she changed some stories, she did some edits and things like that. That, I think, is the best piece of evidence for Tati, because you can say, if she didn't defame me, you know, Why did she have to take it down? Why did she adjust it? Why did she do this? She knew they were false, right? And did it, and then whether she said it again anyway. So following or adhering to some of those cease and desists may be enough evidence against Katie to say that there was some defamation. Again, I think it's tough this because I think most people, and I want to get this out to most people. Number one, understand this: you people are only hearing, truly only hearing one side of the legal story. Why is that? Because number one, KJ hasn't denied any of the allegations.
So weird.
Lawsuit. Absolutely not. She has not denied any of the allegations in the lawsuit at this time. She has filed a motion to dismiss, saying, and the standard for that is if everything Tati's saying is true, she still doesn't have a case. But right now, in this case, technically everything Tati said, we can assume it to be true, right? Just to determine if it's legally sufficient to go forward. That's all we're looking at. And the fact of the matter is that since KJ hasn't denied any of these claims, right? Since she hasn't argued that she hasn't done any of this stuff, usually she can't, then it for us digging through the weeds, we're only hearing one side of the story and saying someone's guilty without hearing the other side. We got to see, what is she going to say? Is she going to show where she, how her sources back her up? Like there was one particular instance where she said James was sued and found liable for something, right? Come to find out that's true. But if you look a little deeper, the lawsuit was then overturned, right? And James was and thrown out. But technically, Katie was right. He was found liable, right? Fraud against the business partner.
Oh, I see.
It's also technically correct that it was thrown out. So, now could you say that she reported only a piece of it and didn't report the full piece of it? Did she even know the full piece of it? But what she said, she could back up, right? Here's a court case. Here's the filing. It said James lost.
Sure.
Is that? So that's what I'm saying. It's this whole case, I think, is a little more complicated. But right now, everybody here is making a judgment based on only hearing one side of the story.
Yeah. Well,
we have
from the lawsuit.
From the other side.
Yeah, true. And is the reason because it's in the so we can move on, is the reason because it's only in the jurisdiction phase right now? That's why, right? Or am I wrong?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, right. We've only heard from one side. KJ has not denied any of these allegations officially yet.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're over the 2-hour mark. And I don't like doing that because then I got to process the stream and I want people to watch this. So right, Jennifer's got a lot. Oh, go ahead.
No, we're going to rock a lot after this, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, if you got time, you're more than welcome to come, man. It'd be tight. Guys, make sure mods, you're dropping the link for me. Okay, to the link to the after show is right there. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna bring up Jennifer's last question. I'm gonna head to Rock a Lot. Nate, you gonna be up for a little longer? You want to come hang over on Rock a Lot for a little bit?
Yeah, but first I'm going to take care of a couple of things, and I'll jump over there real quick.
No, that's no problem, man. So here's what's up. Jennifer says, okay, in a different story that she's been covering for a while, she's done like 300 videos on these people called the Duggars. She said that Josh Duggar learned how to be a, I don't want to say this because I could get demonetized, but I'll say it. She said Josh Duggar learned how to be a sexual abuser from Jim and theorized that Jim did something sexually to him. Is that opening her up for defamation, or is that just something that she can say and theorize on? People want to know, because I think people don't understand defamation, but what do you think?
Let me explain defamation. I want to explain people this concept of defamation, of context of who's saying it, because defamation has a couple of different layers. Number one, what's being said, also in the context in which it's being said, because that's just as important as what's being said. For instance, let's say if we go to a comedy show and the comedian up there starts saying crazy stuff like, hey, this guy right here looks like blankety blank, right? Or this guy like this or that, right? No matter, it's going to be hard to say a comedian defamed you, right? Why? Because no reasonable person is going to take what they're saying seriously, right? It's a comedian. It's a show. They're saying crazy stuff. That's what they do. That's what the show is about. So, so when you're looking at defamation, you also have to look at who's saying it and whether a reasonable person would think it to be true, right? Because that's one of the things that kills defamation cases. It's about the reasonable person believing it to be true. In this case, Katie is like a comedian. Katie is like a comedian in the sense where the context, her show, her channel is a commentary channel. It's the same as with Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson has had the same issue, right? Tucker Carlson is considered like a comedian. Rachel Maddow has had the same issue. She's been seen like a comedian. So I just want to be very, very clear. I think that if she is saying these things like about the Duggars and stuff, this context of commentary, I think it's going to be extremely hard. I think it's going to be extremely hard for anybody to find her, to find that to be defamatory, or a court, I should say, to find it.
Yeah.
Defamatory. Mother Funk says she's not a comedian. No, she's not a comedian. She's a commentary channel. It's like Tucker Carlson is not a comedian, but the standard for a comedian applies to Tucker Carlson, because just like the court said in the Tucker Carlson case, no reasonable person would think that whatever he's saying is true. He can be hyperbolic. He can say these type of things because no reasonable person would think he's saying is accurate. And I'm assuming that's the truth for Katie too. She says this stuff about the Duggars. I don't think any reasonable person, just like they say, no reasonable person believes Tucker. It'd be hard for me for the court then to turn around and say, but a reasonable person would believe this YouTuber at 137,000.
And I get that. But that is kind of what we may expect from the lawsuit as it goes forward. I think the main issue Katie has is a lot of the other stuff that everybody said in the chat, is that being a YouTuber isn't just about, whether you break a rule or two or a law or two. It's whether you correct mistakes. It's whether you the reputation you have as time goes on. And I think that she's got these two battles that she's fighting, and she's maybe winning the court case. She may be losing it, but she could win it. But in the side of YouTube, unfortunately, when it comes to the people, she has lost. And it's so far. She's so far gone there. Her real challenge is going to be somehow, is she going to maintain being a villain? Because there are people out there who become the YouTube villain and they just try to, roll with it and maintain it. Then there are people out there that try to come back from it. And the problem Katie has, being a YouTube villain while reporting on the Duggars or reporting on these other people with the content she does, isn't going to work. But either way,
look at.
Go ahead, Nate.
Hold on, I just want to say, look at this guy. Butterfly Kisses say many people do believe her at Nate Brody. Would you say many people believe Tucker Carlson? Right. I would. As a matter of fact, I would bet you more people believe Tucker Carlson is speaking truth than Katie Joy Paulson. And a court said, when Tucker Carlson said these are undisputed facts, I'm speaking truth. This woman is an extortionist. The court said that's him saying that. No reasonable person would believe that's true, because his channel is a commentary channel. Because his show is a show. That's
because
what I'm
of First
saying.
Amendment protection.
It's protected speech. Because no reasonable person, and we know, right? Many people believe him. Sometimes, it's just the way it is.
Gotcha. Nate, I appreciate you coming on, man. We just knocked out a killer live stream. I really appreciate it. Your channel right here on my screen. Make sure you guys subscribe. What are you getting into this week? What do you got coming up? You want to shout anything out so that people can come watch?
Well, I'm just, to be honest with you, I probably just gonna do a couple of more live streams. I'm doing this. I'm doing the workup on the case. Not the case. The excuse me, GameStop. So I'm doing my whole GameStop.
Okay, that's a big story.
Yeah, it's tough to explain short selling, but I think I have it. I think I have it well explained with a very great with a great way to help people understand what short selling is. I don't know. Do you mess with the market? Do you know anything about short selling or anything like that?
Dude, I know nothing about it, and I'm looking forward to your video, because the way that you break down these types of things, man, I always come out of your video with understanding what it is you brought up. So,
all right, I'm be good. Yeah. But that's my goal. It's taking me a little time because there's so much research you got to do with this thing. It's
oh yeah, dude.
But well researched. We try to figure out the topics and try to give it to you guys the best way we can with the least amount of mistakes. Now, we won't make mistakes. Don't think we're going to be perfect.
That's true.
We seek perfection. That's
right.
how we roll. We seek perfection and we ask for forgiveness. So, but that's what I got coming up. I got a couple more police breakdown videos. You know how we do.
Hell yeah.
Just trying to grow the channel, make it happen. So, I want to thank you for having me here. I want to thank the 200-300 people who are watching. Thanks again for watching us blab for a couple of hours. We really appreciate it. Don't forget, you get out here, hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Because
I never tell them to. I always forget to tell them to hit the like. All right, Nate. I'll see you soon, buddy. I'll get a hold of you. Thanks for coming, bro.
Yeah, bro.
All right, later. Okay, Nate the lawyer. Now, Nate told us the lawyery things, but I want to talk just some of my end thoughts after talking to Nate, because I'm not a YouTube lawyer. I know nothing about YouTube law, and it's been a while since I've been live here talking to you. And I think the last time I was live, it was around the time that all that garbage happened. So I've got a completely different perspective. I've been telling you my perspective uploading videos. I'm going to tell you what I think now live, but make sure you understand I look at it from the YouTube perspective, and Katie is facing one of the biggest cancelings I have ever witnessed. One of the most, let's say, drastic cancelings that exist. And I have a statistic for you. I noticed this earlier today. Oh, anytime. No, thank you for coming. Thanks for supporting the show. I appreciate you. I'm going to keep, hey, you guys always come to these streams and you always hang out with me. I'm going to keep doing them. I just, over here on UNIRock too, I try to put a lot of preparation into streams and stuff. So that's why you're not getting as many of them. But if you want to come listen to me, just sit there and hang out and talk to you. That's the after show. Rock a lot. Mods have been sharing it. And I'll share it again here. Either way, though, I have a statistic for you. And I clicked on Katie's live stream earlier, and she left her like-dislike ratio on. And there was over there was 200 people, maybe 180 or something watching. She only had 9 upvotes, and there were so many downvotes. I don't even want to tell you what it was, but it was enormous. It was like 50 or 100 or 150. I don't remember. 9 up out of all those people watching kind of said to me that she is the YouTube villain right now. So I want to talk to you about how she went from... I want to talk about her YouTube issue, okay? Because Nate knows about the law, and Nate just told us about the difficulties of a defamation case. Does it mean that she did nothing wrong if she gets this case thrown out? Of course not. We have video clips, and that's what we use to kind of look at things. We look at what people said, how they handled it, how they apologized, whether they apologized, and that's when we decide whether we feel one way or another about a story. But in this situation, none of that happened. She's literally deleted that stuff and just tried to move on. I want to talk about those things that I think, regardless of the lawsuit, if she wants to be able to upload videos and be accepted by anybody, there are things that she has to fix. So at the end of this, that's what I want to talk about. Let's do that now. I just want to thank you all for being here. I missed you. Hello, I missed you. Let's do it. All right. Well, this is actually this is a pretty small stream for us over here at UNIRock too, but the reason why it's so small is because we haven't streamed in so long. When I stream every day, yeah, we usually have a bunch more people here, but this has been a massive turnout for my first stream in a long time. Thank you. Also, you know, I like to give you guys little tips on things you can do to not be bored. Because really, my goal is for you not to be bored. And I fail at that goal a lot. I fail at the goal of making sure you're not bored often. Though, there's this show on Netflix called Disenchanted. It's a Simpsons, creators of The Simpsons, but it's like set in the, you know, swords and knights and wizards times. It is funny as all get out. If you haven't seen it, make sure you watch it and use code UNIROCK. I'm just playing. That it's a really funny show. I'm addicted to it. I like this show. I thought I'd hate it. Okay. Oh, also, there's another one. It's an anime. What is that damn anime that I always talk about? Why can't I remember the name of it right now? Yeah, it'll come to me, but watch the anime. One of my mods will type the name of it. It's really good. I got hooked on it. The anime and Disenchanted. Okie dokie. So, yes, we talked about the Tati lawsuit with Nate the lawyer. Nate is a lawyer, and he's been a police officer, and he's just got a lot of experience. And me and him, we disagree. After seeing what James Charles said to her in the DMs, after seeing some of the clips, maybe because I'm not educated in defamation or the law, I think that Mr. Saltz has a really winner of a case. I think he's going to hit a home run. So Nate says, interesting. Keep updating me, please. My mods. I'm talking to my mods. Keep updating me on anything you see out there. We got two things we need to talk about because Sherelle did a video and I wanted to commentate on that for a moment. But anyway, let's talk about some of the major problems she has because I disagree with Nate the lawyer. Nate says that she's probably going to win the case because it's defamation. I heard some of those clips. I've seen some of the things she say. I think there will be defamation and she will lose to an extent. I think she'll sign some agreement with Tati Westbrook, right? Personally, I think she's going to have to or lose. That's my opinion. You just heard Nate the lawyer's opinion. Nate thinks that she's going to win the lawsuit. I disagree. I think she's going to lose the lawsuit, but I've been very affected by the clips I've seen. Also, so here's what I'm going to give you a little tiny bit of commentary on that because I don't feel I don't want to beat down on her because I bet she's under a lot of stress. I bet she's like, you know, not feeling good about her situation. So I'm not trying to add to that, but I do want to criticize because she told me to criticize her. But, you know, she's going to say, oh, I don't want you to criticize me anymore. Well, sorry, you told me to criticize you through this lawsuit, so I'm going to. And main point number one, just like you said with the Duggars, I was shocked to know that she said that, the thing Jennifer typed in, and another thing. I forget what the other thing was. You know, saying like, did this guy abuse somebody and then teach this guy to be abused? And then did he get abused? It's like, why are you saying this on your show? Just because you watch this television show? I don't watch television shows and even think that kind of shit. How are you coming up with that and putting it on YouTube? And then it made me think like the Duggars could just walk in and slap her with a defamation suit at any time. And I'm not even exaggerating. I do think the Duggars, at some point, after this Tati thing's over, especially if Tati ends up winning, I think there's going to be other people that'll come at her. And I don't like the precedent that it sets for YouTube because we should be able to get up here and say what we think, but you can't sit here and put people down. Another point you guys made when Nate was talking, the amount of people from Washington who have come out to say, I stopped watching and buying Tati's products because of what she told me. And then I found out it wasn't true and I stopped watching her and I went back to Tati. And a lot of people say they watch Tati's old videos. I don't know if that's true or not. I've heard people say that, but I think that, yeah, Saltzy has hurdles that he has to overcome for it being a defamation suit. So here's what I'll say to just shut up and sum that up. If there is a defamation suit that can be won from something people were saying on YouTube, and from bigger channels, not small, because smaller channels will pop up and do shit all the time. I think this is it. I think that Saltzy has a chance. I think he's actually batting with like 80% to 20%. 80% that Saltzy's going to win. Now, we brought up also those threats, and I've completely disavowed them. I've told you that I think they're disgusting. I did a live stream on Rock a lot, where we're going to be streaming in just a minute. I completely disavowed it and said it was horrible, but I've said that the entirety of the time I've been on YouTube. I've done videos on really boring subjects just so that I could say I don't agree that people mass flag. I don't agree that people are threatening people and doxing people and all that. So, you know, I just want to make sure that you know that, because people are shocked that, one, like Nate said, she hasn't formally denied some of the stuff she's accused of. And then two, I know she did a tweet where she said something like, we don't condone that type of behavior. But it didn't seem like, you know, she was trying to tell people, whoever you are, you need to stop. You need to go to jail. Like, from what Nate the lawyer said, it was more complete than what I heard from her Twitter. I just want to get that out. And, the thing about her coming back on YouTube. If she, well, she's on YouTube, but I mean making a comeback. That was supposed to be what me and her were working on when I talked to her. No, I didn't look at her content. No, we didn't talk about all these other things. I was busy. I am always busy. So we were very to the point. And I was supposed to go and say, look, even though these people are criticizing you and some of them are being really mean, there's still good criticism. So you need to hear it and then apologize for it. Now, you guys know, if you look back on my channel, you'll notice there's a day where she goes and makes this apology video, and that's when Keemstar and Creepshow and all these people are like, what a horrible apology, right? That's my problem. Like, she wasn't supposed to just, like, hear a rumor that I'm making the criticism video and hear, like, 2 of the criticisms I have, not watch my video, rush to her channel, and put out what she put out. She was supposed to let me finish my video, watch my video publicly. I wasn't just going to give it to her. Publicly put it out. She can watch it and then make an apology or whatever she wanted to do, right? If she apologized for what she thinks she should and answer to the things that she thinks she should, and then ignore the stuff that she thinks she shouldn't. And as you know, she went that day, like before I even finished, and heard a couple of things I was going to say by coming in the room I was in Discord, and then went to her channel and made that apology video. So she kind of sabotaged that. And I think with this lawsuit being there, is it possible for her to make a comeback? I think she literally needs to change all the things that she does wrong. How does she do that when her content... Why is my live chat locked up? Oh, is there a new one? If there's something new, let me know. Oh, you mean on Twitter? Okay, hell yeah, hell yeah. I need to follow you. I do. I just don't use Twitter. I suck at it. I'm supposed to be DMing. Oh my God, I was supposed to DM 2 people. And I was supposed to do this days ago. Ah! I'm going to do that. If you're watching, you know who you are. I will be DMing you Sunday night so that I can get a hold of you Monday. I apologize. Jesus, criminelli, I'm so forgetful. It's because I'm so busy. Can she make a comeback? Only if she fixes what she does. The content, that's where I was. So I have started to look at some of the other content, and I noticed, like with the Duggar stuff, some of the stuff that she says about them is just fucked up. Some of the stuff she alludes about them and says and tells people that they do is just really messed up. So how do you atone for being nasty to people so much and inciting and fighting and cancel culture back and forth so hard with people? How do you fix that while at the same time you're going to be making videos just attacking somebody new? If you look at the content that she does, yeah, it's funny to, it's entertaining, or it's funny to do this or do that or do this. But people hate TMZ. People hate certain paparazzi and stuff like that, right? You really don't want to be the worst of that kind of community. And that's, I think, the main issue. Because if you're in that community and you do these fucked up things and it's part of your personality, how are you going to apologize for damage you've done going too far doing those kind of things? I don't think it's possible, but I don't think anyone should be canceled forever if they are trying and if they've learned their lesson. Though she's got a huge battle. I think she should really start focusing on finding a type of content she can do that doesn't involve defaming and guessing, speculating, putting down, attacking, and shitting on people. And Nate a lot of you guys got mad at Nate. There was a few of you in the chat, and you were like, how do you say some of the stuff you're saying about Katie, Nate? Nate isn't... Look, back when I had Katie come and talk to me, I wasn't following everything she did. I didn't... Look, if I go out on Twitter and YouTube and I see people and they're, you know, making fun of her looks or something, I'm not going to listen to what they have to say. And at a point in time, that was all that was out there. Now that there's not, maybe Nate, after reading the chat, talking to me, hearing some of these more extreme things that she's done, maybe he'll actually take a look at it now. Because I know you have to take time out of what you do to go look at the worst things that she's done, which I did do often. Unfortunately, the commentators, when they came out, is when I learned a lot of stuff. Maybe Nate can do that now. Maybe he can start absorbing. I think maybe we should bring him back on, and I can get some of these worst parts of the lawsuit and worst things that are there and get him to weigh in, not from a legal side, because Nate has two sides. Nate has the legal side, and then he has his opinion side. It's hard to get Nate the lawyer to tell you his opinion. It's really hard to. I know he does it a lot in certain situations, but in other stories, he guards that because he feels like he's going to lead the audience, right? So he goes and grabs the facts that he has, and he gives it straight to you that way. So I really want to get his YouTube opinion. What do you think about this from a YouTube perspective or a creator perspective, these things that happened? And then I think it might open his mind a little more. Though, there's one other thing that happened. Now, I haven't seen the Sherelle stream, but I've been told a couple little things that happened, and I just want to commentate on it really fast. In fact, can I get a moderator to do me a favor? There were two tweets. One was from Science First, and one was from Jules, I think, or something. Can you do me a solid? Can I get a moderator to grab me Science First's tweets and put them in the bottom of the general room? Because I want to show you what he said, because I agree with him when it comes to that stream, at least what I know so far. Then I'm going to the Rock-A-Lot. Here's a link to Rock-A-Lot. I love Nate. I fully support Nate. And Nate's perspective is vital. It is vital. I need Nate the lawyer around. You do too. Because he will sit and tell you, like, you are looking at one side. Look at both. And it's not, look, if Nate wanted you to change your mind, he would tell you, change your mind. He doesn't want you to. He just wants you to make sure that you are being as fair as humanly possible. You need that. I need that. Especially I need it after what happened between me and her. And then a lot of you have experiences like that too, where she's come at you or put you down, lied about you in front of all these people. I know a lot of you don't want to look at both sides. I really don't either now, because I had all of the other side I could take at this point. But he is correct. No matter what, I have to look at both sides, and a lot of us should probably, right? Anyway, Nate and Uncivil Law both said they don't care about her actions because it has nothing to do with the jurisdiction. Yes, you're getting his commentary on the lawsuit. You're not getting his commentary on her morals, ethics, behaviors. Make sure you separate that in your mind when it comes to Nate. But I don't give a shit about all that other lawsuit stuff. I care about the whole picture, and that's why I give you my side like I do. What was I about to talk about? Oh, the Sherelle stream. Okay. All right. So while I wait for a mod to grab me, I got it. Here we go. Thank you very much, Misha. Very, very kind of you. All right. So what kind of, this is what I don't want to show Girl Frog's Jules. Okay, I'm not going to show the tweet because I don't want to show her @ sign and stuff like that. I just want to be careful. So Emily Baker responded to this tweet. I don't know if Girl Frog Jules is in the chat. Jules, can you let me know if it's okay if I show your tweet, that one tweet? I don't have your Twitter opened. If you don't want me to, though, I won't. And if she does tell me to, make sure that you tag me, okay? Me too, Heather. That's how I roll too. I try to look at all sides the whole time. And it takes a lot of time, and sometimes it's really fucking boring. Because you're like, I don't need all this shit, man. I just... But yeah. Oh, yeah. I think her choice to end her friendship with Nate is this... Well, that's... Yeah, to end her friendship with Nate is what dumb thing she's done to herself. Having his kind, thoughtful advice is an asset to anyone. Well, Nate said he still talked to her recently. So she did tell Nate goodbye. For those of you that may not have known, she told Nate the lawyer goodbye. She messaged him and said, oh, you're hanging out with EB, Emily Baker. You're hanging out with Emily Baker? Well, goodbye. I'm out of here. Screw you, right? Now they must have talked since then, right? Because he told us they did. I don't know how to feel either. I just learned this. I looked at you guys like when he said that, I went like this. I looked at you guys like, what? Because I was under the impression that she was like, see ya, sayonara, peace. Okay. I should have Leslie Bass come on and talk. I've offered Leslie to come talk several times. I don't seek out things. Like, you know how Nate got on the show? I was in Discord recording some footage and he popped in and started talking to me. So like, if Leslie wanted to, she would just have to reach out, you know? And there's an issue. Me and Leslie still have a single issue that we disagree on. So I don't want to hash that up. I don't want that drama. You get me? I just don't want that drama. I don't want any drama. Drama gets in the way right now. We've got enough drama to deal with from all this other shit, right? That's true, Pink Flamingo. And that's the problem, right? Okay. All right. Here we go. So, Jules says, what kind of nonsense was that? Help me make sense of this, please. Little Red is now the victim of Katie's harassment. This woman basically created a channel to harass Katie Joy for months. Not a fan of Katie's, but come on, poor Little Red and her feelings. Linda says, I was exactly thinking the same thing. I don't know why Emily bought into her lies. I don't like Katie, but if anyone is a harasser, it's the other person. I'm not going to say her name again. I shouldn't have did it once. Though Emily Baker came back and responded. I can't see the tweet. I joined Sherelle's channel to talk about the lawsuit, and the fact that her channel was mentioned in the defamation. So that's the only reason. And I'm telling you this up here now because I know that there are thousands of you out there, if not the majority of people know who the doxers were a year ago. We know that they didn't just share it because it was part of a story. They didn't share it because those specific people didn't just share it because it was part of a story or share it because of whatever other reason. They shared it to be malicious, and they literally laughed about it and made fun of it when they did it. Oh, did I just dox her? Ha 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 ha. Lol. Whoopsie. That's my point. What I'm trying to say to you, I wouldn't hold it against Emily because she has no clue about all that stuff. Emily does not know what happened a year ago. She doesn't know that that channel doxed Katie. She doesn't know that in the commentary channel. What bothers me is that both of the two channels that did purposely, maliciously dox Katie openly on Twitter have been interviewed on Sherelle's World. I don't understand that. I don't think Sherelle supports that kind of behavior, does she? I know some people are like, some people have theories and stuff. All I'm saying is, I wouldn't blame Emily Baker just because of that. Once she goes there, those two, and again, the reason she was there is because Sherelle and that other channel were mentioned in the suit. So it makes sense that she said, oh, both of those channels are mentioned in the suit and they're inviting me on. Okay, so that makes sense. But yes, I myself know for a fact, I mean, there are so many other things I could name that are way worse than that happened, and I won't because I'm not going to try to start that shit. I'm going to tell you, though, that's my opinion because a lot of people were saying, a lot of people were tagging Emily when they said this stuff. So then Science First comes in, and I've already apologized to Science First, but I'm going to apologize to him again. I did disagree with him on one thing a while back, but it was because I was lied to. I just want to make sure everybody knows I apologized to him, so I did that before. Horrible apology, Uni. I already did that. I did it long ago. I'm just reminding you. Science First comes in. Absolutely love your channel, Emily. You covering this whole debacle has been excellent. Your takes are superb. I would urge caution when dealing with that channel, not Sherelle's World. I agree KJP has behaved appallingly. Some of her victims have done equally questionable and disturbing things. That's the best way anybody could say it. People that want to come out and say we should cancel KJP and hold her accountable for what she said and did. Yes, we should, because now we've got clips and evidence that she did these really fucked up things. Though people that did equally fucked up things to her openly in front of the whole world should also be held to the same standard that we hold Katie to, or we are just worthless hypocrites. So if KJP deserves our criticism, those other channels do permanently also. But what if they've learned their lesson? But what if they've changed? They haven't. And like I said, we're not even naming the worst things they've done. We're just naming that specific thing, right? This is about mass flagging. They got named in the suit for mass flagging, and the suit also deals with doxing and hacking and things like that, right? We can at least say the mass flagging and doxing are things that the other people engaged in also. Therefore, if you go around and say, I support those channels that did that, but I'm going to be mad at KJP, you're just exposing yourself as a hypocrite is the issue. So. And then, oh, is that the only tweet? Okay, wait. So that's the same one as that one? Yes. So I think I've read all of it. All right. So anyway, I think I've handled everything right. I'm already 2 hours and effing 40 minutes. How am I on for this long? None of it's okay, no matter who did it first, no matter what their excuse. Stop it, do better, move forward. Exactly, Chimera. And so, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the thing is, you're going to get a lot of the people that were criticizing Katie who still criticize her now, or people that weren't criticizing her that started criticizing her now, that the worst things have come out. You're also going to get, though, people who were in the most disgusted, people that were harassing her in an equal way to what happened this week. They now are trying to put on the face that they're just another YouTuber like everybody else, when they aren't. They are literally this. They're not. They are worse than KJP. And you're going to say, yeah, but you don't think KJP's that bad. No, I really do, honestly, at this point. I really, really do. So anyway, they got so comfortable doing it to her back when she didn't have that many subs that they did it publicly, openly, right? And I think at a point, people with a huge subscriber base like Sherelle and others, the main thing here is she knew that. She knew that that happened. I have no clue why she's not. If she is going to say KJP's messed up because she dug deep on Tati and did these other things, you're right. Why are you excusing her then and putting her on your show next to Emily? It's insanity. It's just insanity. That's just my opinion. LB said she doesn't want people to say her real name anymore. Oh, okay. Well, I was reading the chat, so just so everybody knows, LB has put in a video she wants people to use LB and not her real name. I will respect that. You may have to remind me for the first couple times. Okay? So let's remind the chat. If she put that out publicly, let's all respect it. Let's just call her LB. Cool? All right. All right. Thank you for letting me know. I have no issue respecting that from someone else. There are people out there who won't respect that. So make sure you know that. I myself will respect it. And if I do say her real name, it'll be because I forgot. So I will do my best to remind myself. But do not forget to show the short clip of her. Oh, she did a clip? Wait a minute. Where's this? There's a statement? Hold on. What's the statement? Tell me in the chat and then I'm going to go. Put it in general. Oh, Rob. I got more from Rob. So let's read this while they get me the rest of the stuff in general. Rob says, okay, I read that one. And then Exiled says, oh, wow, how unfortunate. Emily shared a stream with the person who actually harassed Marie by showing Marie's nudes on her stream. Marie works in the industry. I guess that made her fair game for the harassment. Rob says, it's similar to another situation. Whatever you think of KJP, and Rob is a journalist. Rob says, as a journalist, I have strong opinions about her conduct. She didn't deserve the level of harassment they inflicted on her. Hence, why a judge issued an RO under the Violence Against Women Act. And then Sinister says, shrug, I quit because I wasn't that good at it. From what I know of her content, considered to be a little more than a gossip columnist. Okay, so yeah, we got it. We got it. Okay, so then I guess there's something else you want me to see before I go, but I'm going to the after show, so let me look. I hate to do this. We need to continue this on the after show, guys, because the replay is going to be so long that people aren't going to watch that much of it. I want people to be able to see Nate and hear Nate talk and get, you know, especially the first hour of the stream was really good. And I know people will click through that. They'll skip through it most likely because it's longer. I need to get to the Rock a Lot. If you want to come hang, if you want to see what else we're going to talk about and look at, ring the bell on the after show. I stream there all the time. It's on the YouTube channel Rock a Lot, just like it sounds. Rock, A-L-O-T, all one word. That's where I typically do longer live streams. I typically stream there every couple days. So if you want to hang with me more on my live streams, that's where to go. If you want to join my channel to support me, join here for the show. Join Rock a Lot for the after show and the video game streams. And if you really want to support me, I've got Patreon, PayPal, all that good stuff. Anything helps. A couple of you guys do a couple donos throughout the month. You join Patreon or whatever, a little bit here and a little bit there. And because there's a lot of you guys, I can afford to do this every day. So thank you for the support. Thank you for coming to the stream. Subscribe to Nate the Lawyer. Hear the other opinions. Hear the legal opinions. Never forget, though, never forget the actual entire situation at hand. We're dealing with people. We're dealing with, these people are real people, okay? We're dealing with situations that can change people's lives. And that's the truth. We've been reminded of that this week. So who you support in this, how you do it, and all of that, matters in my opinion. I know a lot of people will tell you it won't. I think it does. Either way, though, this is just YouTube, so don't take it too seriously, okay? Because then you'll become a lolcow. So never do that. Oh, no, thank you, April. I can't have you if you're not here. Thank you. I'm heading to Rock a Lot. I'll see you over there. Thank you for watching. You guys are the best. You're the best. So I'm going to give away another 100,000 rocks so that you're prepared and you're supplied for the next stream if you drop emojis and spam the chat now, because you got to type in the chat to get the rocks. And I'm out. Motherfunk, I'm unbanning you over there is the minute I get there. So no worries. Motherfunk, you're getting unbanned as soon as I log in.